In the dim glow of a single candle, the masked figures sit in silence, the air thick with anticipation. The room is small, its stone walls cold and ancient, yet the whispers with an echo through time, speaking of power, secrets, and revolution. This is no ordinary gathering. It is the meeting of the most secretive, most elusive society in human history, the Illuminati. For centuries, rumors have swirled around this mysterious order, each story more cryptic than the last. The mere mention of their name sends a shiver down the spine, for the Illuminati have long been associated with power, unchecked and shadowed. But who were they really? What were their true goals? And how much of our modern world did they shape, unseen and unfathomable? These are the questions we seek to answer, diving into the deep recesses of history and the world's most secretive corridors of influence. We begin in the heart of the 18th century, in a small, seemingly inconsequential town in Bavaria, where an enigmatic professor named Adam Weishaupt first breathed life into an idea that would go on to change the world forever. It was in these quiet, candlelit chambers that the seeds of a society that would eventually reach across continents and centuries were planted. But the order's impact wasn't confined to dusty archives or forgotten history books. No, the Illuminati's touch was far more profound, reaching into the very bones of revolution, politics, and even the spiritual undercurrents that defined an entire age. The society's goals were simple, at least on the surface: to foster enlightenment, to challenge the existing order of monarchy and religion, and to replace it with a new world order rooted in reason, intellect, and progress. Yet, as we will come to understand, the truth of the Illuminati's intentions was far murkier. Was their mission one of liberation and intellectual freedom, or were they, as many suggest, simply a new breed of elitist conspirators who sought to control the fate of nations for their own gain? What lay beneath the surface of their philosophy, and why did the society dissolve so abruptly, only to reappear in the shadows, casting a long and ever-growing influence on history? The Illuminati's origin story, though fascinating, is only a piece of the puzzle. As their ideas spread, they found fertile ground among thinkers, philosophers, and politicians who were themselves eager for change. These men, many of whom would go on to shape the future of Europe and the Americas, saw in the Illuminati not a radical faction but a symbol of progress and reason. The Enlightenment had brought a new wave of thought, challenging centuries of dogma and superstition. In this climate of intellectual upheaval, the Illuminati emerged as both a product and a force, their ideals weaving into the very fabric of European political movements. But even as the order expanded, so did its enemies. The monarchy, the church, and the state, all threatened by the Illuminati's ideas, reacted with suspicion and hostility. The authorities believed that the Illuminati sought to undermine the very foundations of power, conspiring in the shadows to bring down governments and reshape the world in their image. This fear would prove to be the society's undoing. But even as the Illuminati was disbanded in 1785, their influence did not vanish into the annals of history as one might expect. Instead, it quietly persisted, morphing into something far more insidious. From the ashes of their official destruction, the Illuminati rose again, not as a formal, structured organization, but as an idea, a shadowy force that permeated the halls of power. It was no longer about secret meetings or elaborate rituals, but about the power to shape events from behind the scenes. This was the true genius of the Illuminati. Their ability to survive in the darkness, operating in plain sight, always just out of reach, always just beyond the grasp of the masses. So what were they truly seeking? Was it power, control, or was it something more, the creation of a new world, a world where the forces of intellect and reason could break the chains of tradition, of monarchy, and of religion? The question remains unanswered, yet the mystery only grows. For centuries, the Illuminati have remained in the shadows, an enigma that refuses to be solved, a society that seems to slip through history's fingers every time we think we've uncovered the truth. The question that looms over everything is simple, yet profound. What was their true agenda? Did they truly seek to reshape the world for the better, or was their vision one of a different kind of tyranny? One that would have its roots not in divine right or monarchy, but in the hands of the intellectual elite, those who, in their quest for enlightenment, might have grown too ambitious, too hungry for power, and perhaps even too willing to control the very fate of humanity. As we embark on this journey, the road ahead will be filled with twists and turns. The deeper we dig, the more elusive the truth becomes. But one thing is certain: the Illuminati were not just a secret society. They were a force that helped shape the very world we live in today. Whether you believe in the myths that surround them or the more grounded theories, there's no denying that their influence is still with us, hidden in plain sight. And perhaps that is the most chilling thought of all. For if the Illuminati's true power remains obscured, what does that say about the forces that still govern our lives? How much of our world is still controlled by unseen hands, working in secret, shaping events as they see fit? And if they are out there, watching, waiting, what happens when they decide the time has come to reveal themselves once again? The mystery is far from over, and the answers we seek may be more dangerous than we ever imagined. The origins of the Illuminati trace back to a small town in Bavaria, in the heart of Europe, where the movement would begin as an intellectual rebellion against the old order. It was here, in the late 18th century, that a professor named Adam Weishaupt envisioned a society that could challenge the pervasive influence of the church and monarchy. Weishaupt, a man of reason and a scholar of the Enlightenment, sought to create a group that would foster intellectual freedom, promote the values of reason, and cultivate a society beyond the constraints of religious dogma and royal power. Bavaria, at the time, was a place where the Catholic Church held enormous sway over both the spiritual and political lives of its citizens. The monarchy, too, was a rigid institution, entrenched in centuries of power and tradition. Weishaupt, however, was not content to simply accept the status quo. He saw the world as a place that could be improved through the application of reason and the questioning of authority. For Weishaupt, knowledge was the key to freedom, and the Illuminati were meant to be the guardians of that truth. His vision was one of enlightenment, of a world where the mind could break free from the chains of superstition and oppression. It was in this intellectual climate that the Illuminati was born. The society began in secrecy, with Weishaupt and a few close associates meeting in hidden rooms, away from the watchful eyes of the church and the state. The group's early rituals were simple yet profound, designed to initiate members into a deeper understanding of the world and their place in it. But this secret society was not just about intellectual pursuits. It was about taking action. The Illuminati were not content to simply theorize about how to change the world. They wanted to shape it. As Weishaupt began to recruit new members, the society's ideals resonated with many who were disillusioned by the rigid, oppressive structures of their time. Among the first to join the Illuminati were Freemasons, an influential fraternal organization that had long been associated with secrecy and ritual. The Freemasons' own beliefs aligned with many of the Illuminati's core values, and it wasn't long before the two societies began to intertwine. The Illuminati's philosophy, grounded in reason and the belief that human progress could overcome the forces of tyranny, found fertile ground in the hearts of these men. They, too, believed that the world could be changed if only the right minds could take control. Weishaupt's vision for the Illuminati was far-reaching. He believed that, through a series of carefully orchestrated steps, the society could infiltrate the key institutions of power, the government, the church, and even the military. It was an ambitious plan, to infiltrate the very institutions that held sway over the fate of nations, and from within, reshape the world according to the society's ideals. But there was one significant challenge. The Illuminati could never be seen as a direct threat to the established order. If the church or the monarchy discovered their true intentions, the society would be destroyed before it could achieve anything. This is why secrecy was of utmost importance. The Illuminati's earliest meetings took place in hidden chambers, often in the dead of night, where members could exchange ideas and formulate plans without fear of discovery. Each member had a carefully assigned role, and their identities were kept secret from one another to protect the organization. The society's rituals were designed not only to foster intellectual growth, but to instill a sense of brotherhood and loyalty among its members. To be an Illuminati was to be part of something much larger than oneself, a force for progress that could change the world. As the Illuminati grew in numbers, it became clear that the society was no longer just a small intellectual club. It was a political force in the making. The ideals of the Enlightenment, which had been slowly spreading across Europe, found a perfect ally in the Illuminati. The Enlightenment was about challenging old ways of thinking, embracing reason and science, and questioning authority. The Illuminati took these ideals to their logical conclusion, that the existing power structures, especially the church and the monarchy, were standing in the way of human progress. If the Illuminati could only replace these old institutions with something more rational, a new world could emerge, one where freedom of thought was paramount. But with their growing influence came greater danger. The Illuminati's activities did not go unnoticed. In a time when censorship was rampant, and any challenge to the established order was met with swift punishment, the authorities soon took an interest in the group. Rumors began to circulate, whispers that the Illuminati were plotting to overthrow the monarchy, to subvert the church's teachings, and to create a society where the masses were no longer controlled by the state or religious dogma. To the monarchs and the clergy, the Illuminati were a threat to everything they had worked to maintain for centuries. In response to this growing suspicion, the Illuminati went deeper into hiding. They adopted new measures to protect their activities and members. The society became even more secretive, operating in a web of underground connections, using coded language and hidden symbols to communicate their ideas. Their reach extended beyond Germany, touching France, Italy, and other parts of Europe, where revolutionary ideas were beginning to take root. The Illuminati's ideals were becoming more than just abstract philosophy. They were becoming a movement. But this is where the story takes a darker turn. While the Illuminati were gaining influence, the pressure from the authorities was mounting. In 1785, the Bavarian government, fearing the rise of a subversive organization that threatened the monarchy and the church, took action. The Illuminati were officially banned, and Weishaupt was forced into exile. The government believed it had eradicated the threat, but what they didn't realize was that they were dealing with something far more insidious. An idea, not just an organization. The Illuminati were not destroyed, they simply went underground. As the years went by, the Illuminati's influence continued to be felt in whispers and rumors. Despite their dissolution, their ideas did not die. They evolved, spread across the globe, and manifested in new forms. The core belief of the Illuminati, that reason, knowledge, and intellectual freedom could overcome tyranny, remained a potent force in the world. And in the shadows, the secret society continued to exist, not in the form of an official order, but in the form of a hidden power that worked from behind the scenes, shaping history in ways we still cannot fully understand. And so, the Illuminati's origins, though rooted in the ideals of the Enlightenment, also reveal the darker, more dangerous side of intellectual ambition. What began as a noble effort to promote reason and challenge the established order became something far more elusive, an underground force, driven by secrecy and power, that would continue to influence the world from the shadows, long after its official disbandment. As the Illuminati's influence grew, it began to seep into the very fabric of European society, leaving a subtle yet undeniable imprint on the political, intellectual, and social landscapes of the time. The group's radical ideas, driven by Enlightenment principles, began to resonate with a wider range of people, especially those disillusioned with the established order. The Enlightenment, with its emphasis on reason, science, and individual freedoms, was in full bloom by the late 18th century, and the Illuminati found fertile ground in this intellectual revolution. Yet, as their influence spread, so did the fear of their power, and their very existence became a shadowy legend, a force lurking behind the scenes, manipulating events for its own purposes. By infiltrating the networks of intellectuals, philosophers, and revolutionaries, the Illuminati were able to discreetly spread their ideology without attracting the full force of state-sponsored repression. The intellectual elite, who were often members of secret societies like the Freemasons, found a natural ally in the Illuminati's pursuit of a new world order, one based on reason and rational governance. These connections allowed the Illuminati to expand their influence across Europe, with members embedded in key social and political circles. It was not enough to merely challenge the church or the monarchy from the outside. Weishaupt and his followers sought to infiltrate the heart of power itself. This infiltration was not as blatant as it may seem. The Illuminati did not storm the gates of government or openly challenge the monarchy in a violent, revolutionary manner. Instead, they operated from within, using subtlety and finesse to push their ideas into the mainstream. The Illuminati's power lay not in their ability to force change but in their capacity to influence it from the shadows. The society's members were positioned strategically in positions of power, from the halls of academia to the royal courts, all the while operating under a cloak of secrecy. This made it incredibly difficult for authorities to pinpoint the group's true objectives, leading to a pervasive air of uncertainty and suspicion. But it was the French Revolution in 1789 that marked the true test of the Illuminati's influence. The revolution, with its ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity, seemed to align perfectly with the Illuminati's goals, and many suspected that the group had played a crucial role in the overthrow of the French monarchy. While the Illuminati were never explicitly credited with starting the revolution, their ideals were woven into the fabric of the movement. The ideas of reason, secularism, and anti-monarchism that had been promoted by the Illuminati found their way into the political discourse of the time, shaping the very revolution that would forever alter the course of history. However, the connection between the Illuminati and the French Revolution is a subject of much debate. While some historians argue that the Illuminati were actively involved in inciting the revolution, others believe that the group's influence was more indirect, with their ideas simply providing the intellectual foundation for the rebellion. Regardless of the specifics, it is undeniable that the Illuminati's philosophy, rooted in reason and the rejection of traditional authority, had a profound impact on the French Revolution. In this sense, the Illuminati can be seen as intellectual architects, whose ideas helped fuel the fires of revolution. As the French Revolution unfolded, the monarchy was overthrown, and the old social order was upended. The revolution introduced radical new ideas that challenged the very foundations of Europe's political and religious institutions. This shift towards secularism, reason, and liberty mirrored the goals of the Illuminati, whose members had long advocated for the dismantling of traditional power structures. In the chaos of the revolution, the Illuminati's influence seemed to be on the verge of becoming more overt, but the secretive nature of the group ensured that their involvement would always remain shrouded in mystery. Despite the success of the revolution, the Illuminati's role remained speculative. Historians and theorists have long debated the extent of their involvement, but the lack of concrete evidence has kept their true role in the shadows. Some argue that the Illuminati had a direct hand in orchestrating the revolution, while others claim that the group's influence was more subtle, acting as intellectual catalysts rather than active participants. In either case, the revolution served as a watershed moment for the Illuminati, marking the point at which their ideas took root in the political consciousness of Europe and beyond. But even as the Illuminati seemed to achieve a measure of success with the revolution, they were also facing increasing pressure from the authorities. The Bavarian government, in particular, was growing ever more suspicious of the group's activities. Fearing that the Illuminati were plotting to overthrow the monarchy and the church, the authorities began cracking down on the society, leading to its formal dissolution in 1785. The Illuminati were driven underground, and their once expansive influence was suddenly curtailed. But as with any secret society, the end of an era is often just the beginning of a new chapter, and the Illuminati's demise did little to diminish their power in the long run. The dissolution of the Illuminati did not signal the end of their influence. If anything, it only heightened the mystery surrounding the group. For centuries, rumors and conspiracy theories have circulated, suggesting that the Illuminati were far from destroyed, and that their influence continued to shape the course of history in subtle, unseen ways. The Illuminati's ability to persist in the shadows, even after their formal disbandment, speaks to the true nature of their power. Their ideas, once considered radical, had found fertile ground in the intellectual elite, and their influence could not be easily erased. Indeed, the very act of suppression seemed to confirm the power of the Illuminati. The more the authorities sought to stamp them out, the more their influence seemed to grow. The French Revolution was just the beginning. Throughout the 19th and 20th centuries, the Illuminati's ideas continued to resonate in movements for political and social change. Their influence extended beyond Europe, touching the Americas, and eventually the global stage. Whether through the creation of new political ideologies or the rise of global financial systems, the Illuminati's legacy lived on. In the years following their dissolution, the Illuminati's ideas would find a new home in the minds of those who sought to create a new world order. The intellectual fire that had fueled the French Revolution was rekindled in the 19th century, as new movements for social justice, equality, and freedom took shape. The ideals of the Illuminati, the belief in reason, the rejection of religious dogma, and the pursuit of a rational secular society became central tenets of many of these movements. Yet, despite their apparent success, the question remains, what was the true nature of the Illuminati's power? Were they merely intellectual rebels, seeking to challenge the established order? Or were they a far more insidious force, quietly orchestrating events from behind the scenes? The answer is elusive, buried beneath layers of conspiracy, rumor, and half-truths. But one thing is certain. The Illuminati were not just a secret society. They were a force, shaping the course of history from the shadows, and their legacy is still felt today. In the midst of the Illuminati's rise and expanding influence, an unexpected and dramatic turn of events would ultimately bring their secret society to an abrupt and violent end. The year was 1785, and the once unstoppable force of intellectual revolution was about to be struck down by the very powers it sought to overthrow. The Bavarian authorities, sensing the growing threat of this shadowy organization, launched a full-scale crackdown that would tear the Illuminati apart. The moment that had long been feared had finally arrived. The authorities were no longer content to simply watch from the sidelines. They were determined to eradicate the Illuminati once and for all. On the night of July 16, 1785, the first blow was struck. The Bavarian government, having accumulated enough evidence and suspicions about the Illuminati's activities, ordered raids across the region. The Illuminati's members, many of whom were deeply embedded in the highest echelons of society, were suddenly exposed. Their secret meetings, once held in the dark recesses of hidden rooms and quiet forests, were now under siege by the forces of the state. As government agents stormed their headquarters, arresting prominent members and seizing documents, the Illuminati's delicate network of secrecy was shattered. At the heart of the crackdown was Adam Weishaupt, the founder and leader of the Illuminati. Having built the society from the ground up, Weishaupt had become both its visionary and its guiding hand. He had taken great pains to ensure that the Illuminati operated in complete secrecy, with rituals and communications designed to protect its members from the prying eyes of the monarchy and the church. But despite these precautions, Weishaupt could no longer escape the wrath of the Bavarian government. He was forced into exile, fleeing first to Gotha and later to other parts of Europe. His influence diminished but never fully extinguished. But the dissolution of the Illuminati did not happen overnight. The crackdown was a slow, methodical process, carried out with the precision of a state determined to stamp out any threat to its power. In the aftermath of the raids, the government issued an official decree banning the Illuminati, citing their subversive activities and their dangerous ideas. Yet, despite this official pronouncement, there remained a lingering sense that the Illuminati were not truly vanquished. Their influence had seeped into the very fabric of society, and their ideas had found fertile ground among the intellectuals, revolutionaries, and power brokers of Europe. The Illuminati's teachings, even if stripped of their formal organization, could not be easily erased. Their vision for a world built on reason, intellectual freedom, and the rejection of traditional authority would live on, even if the order itself was no more. In the years following the crackdown, the Illuminati became the subject of intense scrutiny and speculation. The authorities believed that by suppressing the society, they had rid the world of its dangerous influence. However, the narrative of the Illuminati's fall was far more complicated. Their demise, though dramatic, would only serve to fuel the mythos surrounding their existence. As the decades passed, the name Illuminati became synonymous with conspiracy, power, and control, and many began to wonder. Was their destruction truly final, or had the Illuminati simply gone underground, continuing their work in secret? The idea that the Illuminati might still exist, operating from the shadows and secretly influencing world events, became a persistent belief in the years that followed. Conspiracy theorists seized on the mystery of the society's dissolution, suggesting that the Illuminati had merely gone into hiding, their members now functioning as a hidden elite, pulling the strings of governments, corporations, and global institutions. The notion of a covert power, working from the darkness to shape the course of history, became a recurring theme in political discourse, literature, and popular culture. In fact, the Illuminati's apparent fall from grace was paradoxical. The more they were persecuted and disbanded, the more their influence seemed to grow. Far from disappearing, their legacy became embedded in the public imagination, fueling the idea that they were an all-powerful secret society that operated from the shadows, shaping history and controlling the fate of nations. The Illuminati were no longer simply a group of intellectuals challenging the established order. They had become a symbol of shadowy control and manipulation, an embodiment of the unseen forces that many believed were controlling the world from behind the scenes. This mythologizing of the Illuminati continued well into the 19th and 20th centuries. As new political movements, social upheavals, and revolutions took place, the specter of the Illuminati was often invoked as an explanation for the chaos and change. The French Revolution, the rise of nationalism, the formation of secret societies, and the creation of powerful global institutions. All of these events were seen by some as evidence of the Illuminati's continued influence. The belief that the Illuminati had not been destroyed, but rather had evolved into a hidden force, gained momentum. But even as the conspiracy theories surrounding the Illuminati grew, there was still a more pressing question that lingered in the minds of those who studied the group. What was their true agenda? What had driven Adam Weishaupt and his followers to create such a society in the first place? Was it purely the pursuit of intellectual freedom, or was there a deeper, more insidious motive at play? The Illuminati had always been a society that operated in secrecy, but the more one dug into their history, the more it became clear that their ideals, while rooted in Enlightenment principles, were also intertwined with ambitions of power and control. The Illuminati's vision of a world where reason reigned supreme, where monarchs and the church were stripped of their power, was undoubtedly appealing to those who sought a break from centuries of tradition and authority. Yet, as with many secret societies, there were darker undertones to their philosophy. Was the Illuminati's ultimate goal truly the promotion of human progress? Or did they secretly aim to replace one form of elite rule with another? What if the very ideals of reason and intellectual freedom were being used as a guise for a more authoritarian and centralized control? This tension between the Illuminati's supposed ideals and their thirst for power would come to define their legacy. Though the society was officially disbanded, its shadow continued to loom large over political and intellectual discourse. The more their ideals became associated with revolution and progress, the more they also became linked to conspiracy, secrecy, and manipulation. The Illuminati had been cast out of the light, but their influence, whether real or imagined, remained ever present in the dark corners of history. And as the world hurtled into the modern age, the question remained: had the Illuminati truly been extinguished, or had they simply retreated into the shadows, waiting for the right moment to resurface once again? As history unfolded in the 19th and 20th centuries, it became increasingly clear that the Illuminati were not just a footnote in the past but a specter that refused to fade. Their ideals, though buried beneath layers of myth and conspiracy, would continue to shape the course of history in subtle ways, as their influence echoed through the corridors of power, stretching across continents and generations. The story of their fall was not the end of the Illuminati, but a prelude to a much larger, more mysterious tale, one that would continue to unfold long after the last member of the original order had passed into obscurity. As the Illuminati's formal dissolution in 1785 reverberated through Europe, a curious paradox emerged. Although their organization was officially eradicated, their influence did not vanish. Instead, it seeped into the cultural, intellectual, and political bloodstream of society, its effects lingering long after the secret society was supposedly stamped out. Their ideals, deeply rooted in Enlightenment philosophy, rationality, individualism, and the rejection of religious and monarchical authority, did not simply vanish with the group's disbandment. Instead, these principles began to resonate within the broader intellectual currents of the late 18th and 19th centuries. The Illuminati, it seemed, had left behind more than a trail of rumors and conspiracy. They had ignited a new wave of thought that would continue to shape world history in ways that are still felt today. In many ways, the ideas the Illuminati championed were ahead of their time, and their legacy would go on to influence a range of political, philosophical, and social movements that emerged in the centuries that followed. The very essence of the Enlightenment, its insistence on reason over superstition, on individual rights over hierarchical control, and on secularism over religious orthodoxy, was revived in the 19th and 20th centuries. And it was precisely these Enlightenment ideals that had first inspired the creation of the Illuminati. By the time the society was officially disbanded, these principles had already taken root in the minds of intellectuals, revolutionaries, and political leaders across Europe and the Americas. Despite the official disbandment of the Illuminati, their vision lived on in the intellectual circles they had cultivated. Their ideas found an unlikely home in the growing circles of Freemasonry, which had long been linked to secret societies and intellectual movements. The Freemasons were not a single, unified organization but rather a network of independent lodges, each with its own rituals, beliefs, and allegiances. Many members of the Illuminati had also been Freemasons, and in the years following the Illuminati's official dissolution, some of their ideas were adopted by Masonic groups, further embedding the Illuminati's ideals into the very core of intellectual and political discourse. The connection between the Illuminati and Freemasonry helped to keep the group's philosophy alive in the years following their official eradication. Masonic lodges became centers for the propagation of Enlightenment ideals, and some members began to promote the idea of a more secular, rational society, one in which intellectual freedom and the search for truth could flourish free from the constraints of religious dogma and royal authority. In this sense, the Illuminati's spirit continued to shape the intellectual landscape of Europe, even though the formal society had been disbanded. At the same time, the same ideals championed by the Illuminati began to influence the political landscape as well. The principles of liberty, equality, and fraternity, central to the French Revolution, echoed many of the core tenets that the Illuminati had espoused. The revolution's push to break free from centuries of monarchical and clerical control aligned closely with the Illuminati's original vision for a more rational and secular world. While the Illuminati themselves were not directly responsible for the revolution, the movement they helped catalyze played a key role in bringing their ideas to the forefront of European political discourse. The dissolution of the Illuminati, far from being a final blow to their power, transformed them into a symbol of resistance against tyranny. The idea of an intellectual and spiritual elite, operating from the shadows to shape the course of history, became an enduring motif in both popular culture and political rhetoric. As Europe and the world underwent further revolutions, wars, and social changes, the Illuminati's ideas continued to influence the way in which people understood power, control, and governance. But it wasn't just in Europe that the Illuminati's influence persisted. Across the Atlantic, in the newly formed United States, the same principles that had shaped the French Revolution, ideas rooted in Enlightenment thought, took root. America's founding fathers, many of whom were influenced by Masonic traditions, embraced the ideals of liberty, democracy, and secularism. The United States became a beacon for the kind of rational, reasoned governance that the Illuminati had once hoped to bring about on a global scale. The connection between Freemasonry and the early American political elite, including figures such as George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, and Thomas Jefferson, ensured that many of the Illuminati's ideas would continue to permeate the American political system. The persistence of these ideas did not go unnoticed. Throughout the 19th century, as new social movements began to take shape, the specter of the Illuminati's secret influence continued to haunt the political imagination. The rise of global financial systems, the creation of new political ideologies, and the increasing consolidation of power in the hands of multinational corporations all seem to echo the same themes that the Illuminati had once championed. The rejection of traditional authority, the promotion of intellectual and individual freedom, and the establishment of a new world order governed by rational principles rather than divine right or aristocratic privilege. It was not long before the Illuminati's legacy began to take on a new form. Instead of being remembered simply as a secret society, they became a symbol of the hidden forces that shape the world, forces that operate not through open rebellion or revolution, but through subtle manipulation and control. As the world entered the 20th century, the term Illuminati became synonymous with the idea of an unseen elite pulling the strings of power from behind the scenes. The idea that a small group of intellectuals, bankers, or political elites could manipulate the fate of nations became a central theme in conspiracy theories, and the Illuminati's name became inextricably linked to this vision of a world controlled by hidden hands. The concept of a hidden hand of power, The idea that the course of history is not determined by the actions of the masses but by a small group of powerful elites was one that resonated deeply in the 20th century. As global events unfolded, from the rise of totalitarian regimes to the formation of large-scale international organizations, many came to believe that the Illuminati's influence had never truly disappeared. Instead, it had evolved, taking on new forms and new identities in response to changing political and social landscapes. What was once a secret society became, in the popular imagination, a symbol of everything that was hidden and unknown about the forces that shaped the world. Even in the modern age, the Illuminati's ideas continue to resonate. With the rise of globalism, corporate power, and international political organizations, the belief that the Illuminati, or some successor to their ideas, continues to influence the fate of nations has only gained strength. Whether through conspiracy theories or a more critical examination of global power structures, the idea that a small, powerful elite operates behind the scenes, shaping events for their own purposes, has remained a powerful and compelling idea. The legacy of the Illuminati, then, is not one that can be neatly wrapped up in a historical narrative or a single theory. Rather, it is a legacy that continues to evolve, reshaping itself to fit the needs and fears of each new era. What began as a secret society founded on Enlightenment ideals has become a symbol of the hidden forces that govern the modern world, forces that are often seen but rarely understood. And in this sense, the Illuminati's true power lies not in their formal organization but in the lasting impact of their ideas, which continue to influence the course of history, even in the present day. The disappearance of the Illuminati from the official historical record did not signal the end of their story. In fact, it marked the beginning of a new chapter, one that would propel the secret society's name into the realm of legend. Over time, the Illuminati's supposed demise would give rise to a number of conspiracy theories, many of which continue to captivate the public imagination to this day. As their official records vanished, the void left behind allowed their legacy to be filled with myth, speculation, and intrigue. What had once been an intellectual society, grounded in the ideals of the Enlightenment, gradually transformed into the archetype of the shadowy elite pulling the strings of global events from behind the scenes. The truth of what the Illuminati truly were, and what they truly wanted, became increasingly difficult to distinguish from the mysteries and secrets they were rumored to hold. The more the authorities sought to suppress the Illuminati, the more the group's ideas seemed to persist and evolve. In the decades following their disbandment, the Illuminati's influence spread like wildfire, albeit in subtle, hidden ways. Revolutionary movements across Europe, such as the revolutions of 1830 and 1848, were filled with ideas that echoed the Illuminati's core tenets of intellectual freedom, secularism, and the rejection of traditional authority. The intellectual climate of Europe during this period, charged with political upheaval and the search for new forms of governance, was fertile ground for the Illuminati's ideals. Whether the Illuminati directly inspired these revolutions or not, the seeds they planted through their philosophy of intellectual independence were clearly visible. But it wasn't only through political movements that the Illuminati's influence persisted. In the intellectual circles of the 19th century, thinkers and philosophers who aligned themselves with Enlightenment values often invoked the ideas that the Illuminati had once espoused. Philosophers like John Stuart Mill and Friedrich Nietzsche, who championed individualism, rationality, and the questioning of established norms, inadvertently carried forward the spirit of the Illuminati, even if they were unaware of it. These intellectual movements were not directly connected to the Illuminati, but the shared ideals were undeniable. The Illuminati's call for a society built on reason, rather than religious dogma or monarchy, found a natural echo in the minds of those who sought to push the boundaries of human understanding. Perhaps most importantly, the dissolution of the Illuminati led to a growing mythos surrounding the secret society, which would fuel centuries of conspiracy theories. The idea of a hidden group of elites controlling world events from the shadows began to take root in the public consciousness. The Illuminati's image became that of the ultimate puppet masters, manipulating governments, corporations, and even entire nations for their own nefarious purposes. This conception of the Illuminati as a shadowy cabal took on a life of its own, amplified by sensationalist writers, political theorists, and eventually the media. Over time, the Illuminati became a central figure in the lexicon of conspiracy theories, synonymous with the unseen hands believed to control world events. In the 19th century, the Illuminati began to be associated with the rise of secret societies in general. The Freemasons, already a well-established fraternal organization, were often linked with the Illuminati in popular discourse. While the Freemasons and the Illuminati were separate organizations, their shared values of secrecy and intellectual freedom led to their eventual merging in the public imagination. Both groups were seen as secretive societies that operated outside the established political and religious order. The Freemasons, with their own deeply symbolic rituals and complex hierarchy, made for a convenient foil to the Illuminati's more intellectual, politically focused aims. Together, the two societies represented the hidden power that many believed existed behind the scenes, subtly steering the direction of human history. It was during this time that the Illuminati began to be associated with some of the most dramatic political events of the century. As Europe witnessed the rise of nationalism, socialism, and communism, some began to see the Illuminati's hand in these movements. The connection was never substantiated, but the idea that a shadowy elite had orchestrated these transformations became an enduring belief. Social and political upheavals such as the Paris Commune of 1871, the Russian Revolution of 1917, and even the rise of fascism and communism in the 20th century were seen by some as evidence that the Illuminati were still active, shaping the political landscape from the shadows, ensuring that their vision of a new world order would come to pass. In the United States, the mythology surrounding the Illuminati gained even more traction in the 20th century. As conspiracy theories flourished, the Illuminati became a central figure in the growing paranoia about secret societies and global power. The fear of an unseen elite controlling world events was not confined to Europe. It spread across the Atlantic to the United States, where the rise of industrial capitalism, the influence of wealthy banking families, and the growth of global trade gave rise to suspicions about the concentration of power in the hands of a few. The Illuminati, once thought to have been eradicated, were now viewed as the hidden architects of a global conspiracy that sought to control the fate of nations. The most popular and enduring of these conspiracy theories is the belief that the Illuminati still operate today, manipulating governments, banking systems, and even the media to control the global economy and politics. These theories, which were first popularized in the late 18th and early 19th centuries, gained renewed momentum in the 20th century with the advent of the Internet and mass media. The Internet provided a platform for the rapid dissemination of these ideas, allowing people to share their beliefs in the existence of a global Illuminati conspiracy with a worldwide audience. By the end of the 20th century, the Illuminati had transcended their origins as an Enlightenment-era intellectual society and had become a central figure in the mythology of global control. The modern portrayal of the Illuminati has evolved, but it still draws heavily on the themes of secrecy, elitism, and the manipulation of world events. Films, books, and television shows have capitalized on the enduring fascination with the Illuminati, depicting them as powerful shadow figures who pull the strings of governments, corporations, and even entire civilizations. From Hollywood blockbusters like The Da Vinci Code to the works of conspiracy theorists like David Icke, the Illuminati have become an integral part of the modern mythos. These portrayals have helped to cement the idea of the Illuminati as a symbol of hidden power, shrouded in mystery and intrigue. Despite the enduring conspiracy theories, the true legacy of the Illuminati remains far more elusive. Were they really the mastermind architects of world events? Or were they simply a product of their time, intellectual rebels whose influence has been exaggerated and distorted over the centuries? What is undeniable, however, is that the Illuminati's ideas continue to reverberate throughout history, shaping the way we think about power, control, and the forces that govern our world. Even if their true agenda remains shrouded in mystery, the legacy of their ideas, liberty, reason, secularism, and intellectual freedom, has had a profound impact on the modern world. The Illuminati, whether real or imagined, continue to captivate the public's imagination. Their story, steeped in secrecy and speculation, reflects the timeless human fascination with power, knowledge, and the hidden forces that shape the course of history. What began as a secret society in Bavaria has grown into one of the most enduring and enigmatic symbols of conspiracy and control in modern history. The question remains, are the Illuminati truly gone, or do they still lurk in the shadows, continuing their centuries-old work of shaping the world from behind the scenes? The answer, like so much of their story, is tantalizingly out of reach, a mystery that may never be solved. As the 19th century unfolded, the legend of the Illuminati continued to grow, morphing into a complex and multifaceted symbol of hidden power. The society, though officially dismantled by the Bavarian government, had found a new life in the world of conspiracy theories. What had once been a small, secretive group of intellectuals dedicated to Enlightenment ideals and the promotion of reason became, in the popular imagination, the ultimate puppet masters, a shadowy elite secretly pulling the strings of world events, manipulating governments, economies, and even entire societies. Their name became synonymous with the idea of an unseen force, operating in the background, shaping the fate of nations and individuals alike. By the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the Illuminati had transcended their roots in the intellectual salons of Europe. They had become a central figure in the growing mythos surrounding secret societies, shadow governments, and clandestine groups that supposedly wielded power behind the scenes. Their influence, once limited to a select few intellectuals and revolutionaries, had expanded to include a wide range of conspiracy theories that reached far beyond the original vision of the group. In this new age of global politics, industrialization, and social upheaval, the Illuminati were not just a relic of the past. They were a living, breathing presence in the imaginations of those who believed that world events were orchestrated by powerful, unseen hands. It was during this period that the Illuminati's connection to Freemasonry began to be solidified in the public imagination. Though the two organizations were distinct, with different rituals, goals, and structures, the shared emphasis on secrecy, exclusivity, and intellectual freedom led to a growing association between them. Freemasonry, a fraternity that had long been linked to elite circles and social movements, became an important vehicle for the continuation of the Illuminati's influence, whether consciously or not. The public, already suspicious of the secretive nature of Freemasonry, began to merge the two organizations in their minds. The Illuminati, now a symbol of hidden power and intellectual revolution, became a ghostly presence within Freemasonry's ranks. Even as the Illuminati itself disappeared from the historical record, their spirit seemed to live on within the rituals and philosophies of these secretive societies. The growing influence of industrial capitalism and the rise of multinational corporations further fed the fire of Illuminati conspiracy theories. As powerful families and corporate magnates amassed unprecedented wealth and control over the global economy, the suspicion grew that they were not merely businessmen or statesmen, but members of an elite cabal working behind the scenes to ensure that their interests were protected at all costs. The rapid industrialization of the Western world, combined with the increasing concentration of wealth and power in the hands of a few, gave rise to fears that a small group of elites had taken control of the world's financial systems. And it was in this context that the Illuminati, or at least the idea of the Illuminati, once again found its place in the modern mythos. In the eyes of many, the secret society had evolved from a group of intellectuals seeking to overthrow monarchies and the church into a global force, manipulating the course of history through financial, political, and social means. The idea that the Illuminati had infiltrated every level of society, particularly the highest levels of government, finance, and culture, was given a massive boost during the early 20th century. The development of new political ideologies, the rise of the global banking system, and the spread of revolutionary movements seemed to provide fertile ground for the belief that powerful, shadowy groups were at work behind the scenes. The Illuminati, once a radical force seeking to overthrow monarchies and religious authorities, was now seen as a master manipulator, orchestrating events on a global scale. One of the most important developments in the evolution of the Illuminati myth was the publication of conspiracy literature in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Writers like John Robison, who published proofs of a conspiracy against all the religions and governments of Europe in 1797, laid the groundwork for the modern conception of the Illuminati as a secret, manipulative organization. Robison's work, which claimed that the Illuminati had infiltrated various European governments and were secretly plotting to subvert them, became one of the most influential texts in the burgeoning world of conspiracy theory. Although many of Robison's claims were based on unsubstantiated rumors and paranoia, his work struck a chord with readers and set the stage for the Illuminati to become the central figure in a vast network of global conspiracy theories. Throughout the 20th century, the Illuminati were increasingly linked to a wide range of historical events and figures, further entrenching their place in the world of conspiracy theories. The two world wars, the rise of communism, the spread of fascism, and the creation of the United Nations, all of these were, in the eyes of conspiracy theorists, part of a larger, hidden plan orchestrated by the Illuminati. The idea that global conflicts and political revolutions were not merely the result of historical forces or the actions of national leaders, but the result of a deliberate, covert strategy by a secret elite, gained widespread appeal. The Illuminati, in the eyes of many, were no longer just a historical curiosity. They were an active force, shaping the modern world in ways that were not visible to the public. The Illuminati's role in shaping the course of history became an increasingly popular theme in literature, movies, and television shows. Works like The Protocols of the Elders of Zion, a notorious and fraudulent document that claimed to reveal the secret plans of Jewish elites to control the world, fed into the larger narrative of a shadowy global conspiracy. Though the protocols were widely discredited, their influence persisted, and the idea of a hidden, all-powerful elite controlling world events remained firmly entrenched in the public imagination. Similarly, novels like Foucault's Pendulum by Umberto Eco, which centers around a fictional secret society with Illuminati-like characteristics, and Dan Brown's Angels and Demons, which links the Illuminati to a centuries-old battle for global power, kept the myth alive in popular culture. The Illuminati had become more than a historical curiosity. They were a central figure in the modern mythology of global control. In the modern age, the advent of the Internet has allowed the Illuminati conspiracy theories to proliferate at an unprecedented rate. Websites, social media platforms, and online forums have provided a platform for those who believe in the Illuminati to share their ideas and connect with others who share their views. These online communities, often built around the idea of uncovering hidden truths, have helped to perpetuate the belief that the Illuminati still exists, operating in the shadows and controlling the world's major events. The Internet has created an ecosystem where the Illuminati are no longer just a fringe theory. They are an integral part of a larger narrative about global elites, secret organizations, and the hidden forces that govern our world. The resurgence of interest in the Illuminati in the 21st century can also be attributed to a growing sense of skepticism and distrust of traditional institutions. As the global financial system has become more opaque, and as powerful corporations and individuals continue to accumulate wealth and influence, more and more people have begun to question the true nature of power. The Illuminati, with their reputation for being a hidden force controlling the world, provide a convenient explanation for the complexity and opaqueness of modern global systems. For many, the belief in the Illuminati offers a sense of clarity in a world that often seems chaotic and out of control. But amidst the myths and conspiracy theories, there remains a fundamental question. What is it about the idea of the Illuminati that continues to captivate the human imagination? Is it the fear of unseen forces, the desire to understand the hidden mechanisms that govern our lives, or the allure of a secret society that operates outside the constraints of the law and the public eye? Perhaps it is all of these things, and more, that have allowed the Illuminati to transcend their origins as an 18th century secret society and become a central figure in the modern world's most enduring conspiracy theories. The Illuminati may no longer exist as an official organization, but their influence, in the form of ideas, symbols, and stories, remains as powerful as ever. As the 20th century unfolded, the name Illuminati began to take on a life of its own, far removed from the historical society that once existed in Bavaria. What had started as a clandestine group with revolutionary ideals, advocating for reason, intellectual freedom, and secular governance, had evolved into a symbol of secretive global influence, linked to countless conspiracy theories. The enduring popularity of the Illuminati in public consciousness was no longer based on their actual activities in the late 18th century, but on the myth and legend that surrounded them. Their name became synonymous with shadowy elites who supposedly controlled world events from behind the scenes, manipulating governments, economies, and even entire societies. This evolution of the Illuminati from a once idealistic society to a symbol of hidden power mirrors the larger trajectory of conspiracy theories throughout history, as societies grapple with their fear of unseen forces shaping their destinies. Throughout the 20th century, the Illuminati's story became more intertwined with the political, social, and cultural upheavals of the modern world. The world wars, The rise of globalism, the consolidation of financial power, and the rapid expansion of technology all seem to provide fertile ground for the belief in a secret, all-powerful group shaping world events. In particular, the creation of the United Nations, the rise of multinational corporations, and the increasing influence of global finance were seen by conspiracy theorists as evidence of the Illuminati's ongoing influence. These global changes were often interpreted as part of a hidden agenda, with the Illuminati pulling the strings from the shadows, ensuring that the world moved in the direction that suited their secret goals. One of the most significant moments in the rise of Illuminati conspiracy theories in the 20th century occurred in the aftermath of World War I. The political and economic chaos left in the wake of the war gave rise to widespread disillusionment and fear. The Treaty of Versailles, which officially ended the war, imposed harsh terms on Germany, and many saw the treaty as an effort by powerful global elites to reshape the world order in their favor. The economic collapse that followed, especially the Great Depression of the 1930s, deepened the sense that something dark and hidden was at work behind the scenes, steering the course of events. As global financial systems became more interconnected, and as powerful banking families gained influence over national economies, the belief that the Illuminati were controlling these financial systems became widespread. It was during this period that the image of the Illuminati as financial puppeteers, controlling the global economy through secretive means, began to take root in the popular imagination. The 20th century also saw the rise of totalitarian regimes, which further fed the belief in a hidden global elite. Fascism, communism, and the rise of military dictatorships around the world appeared to be part of a global struggle for power, and many conspiracy theorists argued that these movements were not just the result of national ideologies but were also manipulated by hidden hands, namely the Illuminati. The rise of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party in Germany, for example, was seen by some as the result of a covert operation orchestrated by powerful international elites who sought to control the world's future. Similarly, the spread of communism and the rise of Soviet power were also attributed to the influence of the Illuminati, with some theorists believing that the society had a hand in supporting both the Bolshevik Revolution and the global spread of communist ideology. These political upheavals, and the conflicts they created, added fuel to the growing belief that the Illuminati were not just a relic of the past but an active, hidden force at work in the world. As the Cold War unfolded in the second half of the 20th century, the notion of a global conspiracy grew even more pronounced. The ideological struggle between the United States and the Soviet Union was framed, by some, as part of a larger game of global control, a game being secretly played by the Illuminati and other shadowy organizations. The world's two superpowers, each vying for dominance in the nuclear age, were believed by conspiracy theorists to be manipulated by hidden elites who sought to ensure that whichever side emerged victorious would serve the Illuminati's long-term interests. The arms race, the space race, and the political maneuvering of both superpowers were seen as part of a larger conspiracy to keep the world in a state of perpetual tension and division, preventing the rise of any one nation or ideology that might threaten the Illuminati's hold over global power. In addition to political and economic manipulation, the Illuminati became increasingly associated with popular culture, particularly through the rise of secret societies and the mysterious world of global elites. Writers, filmmakers, and conspiracy theorists alike began to weave the Illuminati into their narratives, creating stories that depicted powerful, unseen forces controlling the fate of nations. Films like The Man Who Would Be King, 1975, and books like Foucault's Pendulum, 1988, explored themes of secret societies, intellectual conspiracies, and the hidden power of elites, with the Illuminati often serving as the shadowy symbol of this hidden power. In particular, the 1990s saw a resurgence of interest in the Illuminati, driven largely by the rise of the Internet, where forums and websites dedicated to conspiracy theories helped to fuel the myth of the Illuminati's ongoing power. The release of Dan Brown's Angels and Demons in 2000 further cemented the Illuminati's place in modern popular culture. Brown's novel, which depicted the Illuminati as a secret society bent on world domination, turned the organization into a global symbol of hidden power and intrigue. The novel was a massive commercial success, and its depiction of the Illuminati as both ancient and modern, the ultimate symbol of covert control over world events, captured the imagination of millions. Brown's portrayal of the Illuminati, mixing historical facts with fiction, fueled a renewed wave of interest in the group and its supposed influence on the modern world. As the internet continued to expand, the Illuminati's presence in conspiracy theory culture grew even more pronounced. The vast reach of the World Wide Web allowed individuals to share ideas, research, and theories about the Illuminati with an unprecedented level of speed and ease. Websites, blogs, and online forums dedicated to exposing the truth about the Illuminati proliferated, each offering new angles on the same old conspiracy. That the Illuminati were, in fact, alive and well, shaping world events from the shadows. Whether discussing the manipulation of world governments, the secret control of the banking system, or the role of the Illuminati in shaping the outcome of major global conflicts, these online communities became a hotbed for conspiracy theorists and truth-seekers alike. The rise of social media platforms further amplified the spread of Illuminati theories, with influencers, celebrities, and ordinary citizens alike linking the Illuminati to everything from global politics to entertainment and celebrity culture. In the 21st century, the Illuminati's influence is still felt in the realm of conspiracy theories, but their association with popular culture has evolved. The Illuminati are no longer just an obscure secret society from the Enlightenment era. They have become a symbol of a global elite, an archetype of the shadowy forces that supposedly control the world. The ideas originally promoted by the Illuminati, rationality, secularism, and intellectual freedom, have been overshadowed by the modern myth of their power. The Illuminati's true legacy, then, is not just in their historical actions, but in the enduring myth of their influence over world events, a myth that continues to captivate and intrigue the public today. As long as people seek to understand the hidden forces that shape their lives, the Illuminati will remain an enduring figure in the landscape of modern conspiracy theories. As the 20th century progressed, the idea of the Illuminati transitioned from being a shadowy, long-forgotten group to becoming the central figure in a web of conspiracy theories that sought to explain the complexities of global power dynamics. Their legacy, no longer confined to the pages of obscure historical texts, became intertwined with every major political event, social upheaval, and financial crisis. The once idealistic society, originally founded to challenge monarchies and religious institutions, was now seen as the embodiment of everything that was wrong with modern society: secretive, manipulative, and hell-bent on controlling the course of history. What had been a small, relatively inconspicuous group of intellectuals was now portrayed as the puppet masters of the world, pulling strings from the shadows and orchestrating the fates of nations, economies, and individuals. At the dawn of the 21st century, this belief in the Illuminati as an all-powerful secret society had reached new heights. It was no longer just an idea relegated to the fringe or the realm of niche conspiracy theorists. The Illuminati were now a central figure in the global lexicon of power conspiracies, with their name invoked to explain everything from the rise of global corporations to the outcome of political elections. The idea that a hidden group of elites was secretly shaping world events became an enduring theme in popular culture, driven by both historical interest and growing fears of the unseen forces at play in a rapidly changing, interconnected world. The growing sense of disenchantment with traditional political systems, especially in the wake of events like the Vietnam War, the Watergate scandal, and the economic crises of the 1970s, created fertile ground for the belief that a shadowy elite was working behind the scenes to control world affairs. As wealth became more concentrated in the hands of a few powerful families and corporations, the public began to question whether the economic and political systems were truly democratic, or if they were, in fact, rigged by a small group of powerful individuals. The Illuminati, once dismissed as a historical curiosity, began to be reimagined as the ultimate symbol of this covert influence. One of the most important factors in the resurgence of Illuminati conspiracy theories was the rise of the Internet in the late 20th and early 21st centuries. With the advent of the World Wide Web, ideas that were once confined to books, pamphlets, or obscure underground movements suddenly found a global audience. Websites, forums, and social media platforms allowed people to share their beliefs in the Illuminati and their theories about the group's role in world events with unprecedented speed. The Internet not only facilitated the spread of Illuminati conspiracies, but also made it easier for like-minded individuals to find each other and form communities around these ideas. Suddenly, the Illuminati were everywhere on blogs, YouTube channels, podcasts, and social media accounts. The rapid spread of Illuminati theories was further fueled by the increasing popularity of media that explored secret societies and hidden conspiracies. Movies, TV shows, and books began to feature the Illuminati in prominent roles, cementing their place in popular culture as the ultimate symbol of unseen power. Films like The Matrix, The Da Vinci Code, and National Treasure played with themes of hidden knowledge and secret societies, and in doing so, they brought the idea of the Illuminati to the forefront of the public consciousness. The rise of these types of media, often featuring protagonists who uncovered secret organizations and world-altering conspiracies, contributed to a sense of mystery and intrigue surrounding the Illuminati. These works of fiction blurred the line between fact and fantasy, further embedding the Illuminati in the collective imagination as the hidden force behind world-changing events. The idea of the Illuminati as a force manipulating global events became even more prevalent in the wake of the September 11th attacks in 2001. For many, the tragic events of that day represented a seismic shift in global politics, one that would set the stage for a new era of conflict and uncertainty. It was during this time that the notion of a new world order, a phrase often associated with global elites seeking to centralize power, became a central theme in conspiracy circles. The belief that the attacks were not just the result of terrorism but a part of a larger plan orchestrated by powerful, secretive groups gained significant traction. The Illuminati, long associated with global control, were now viewed by many as the architects of this new world order. The events of 9/11 and the subsequent wars in Iraq and Afghanistan were seen by conspiracy theorists as part of a larger agenda to reshape the world according to the desires of a hidden elite, and the Illuminati were often cast as the masterminds behind it all. The economic collapse of 2008 further fueled the belief that the Illuminati, or some other global elite, were controlling world events for their own benefit. The financial crisis, which saw banks and financial institutions teetering on the brink of collapse, was blamed by some on a hidden group of individuals manipulating the global financial system. The subsequent bailout of large banks, combined with the growing concentration of wealth and power among a few key financial institutions, led many to question the fairness and transparency of the economic system. For those already inclined to believe in Illuminati conspiracies, the events of 2008 were seen as proof that a secret elite was operating in the shadows, using their influence over the global economy to further their own interests while leaving the general public to bear the consequences. As the internet became increasingly central to the way people communicated, consumed information, and interacted with the world, the spread of Illuminati conspiracy theories reached new heights. Social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram became breeding grounds for these ideas, as individuals shared videos, articles, and memes about the Illuminati's supposed influence. The viral nature of social media meant that even fringe conspiracy theories could gain massive followings in a matter of days. The Illuminati became a central figure in this online world of speculation, with every major political or cultural event being interpreted through the lens of hidden power and manipulation. Perhaps the most surprising aspect of the Illuminati conspiracy theory's resurgence in the 21st century is its infiltration of mainstream culture. In the age of celebrity worship, the Illuminati became a central figure in the narrative surrounding pop culture icons. Celebrities like Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Kanye West were frequently rumored to be members of the Illuminati, with conspiracy theorists pointing to their success, influence, and symbolism as evidence of their secret affiliation with the group. The notion that the Illuminati controlled the entertainment industry became a widespread belief, with artists and musicians often accused of using their platform to further the agenda of the secret society. The use of occult symbols, such as the all-seeing eye or the triangle hand gesture, became associated with the Illuminati, and these symbols began to appear in music videos, fashion, and advertisements, further feeding the belief that the entertainment industry was part of the Illuminati's grand design. While many dismiss these claims as mere fantasy, the belief in the Illuminati as a powerful, shadowy force continues to be a significant part of modern conspiracy culture. The idea that a small group of elites control the world, manipulating events to serve their own interests, is deeply embedded in the way people view power in the 21st century. Whether through global politics, the economy, or popular culture, the Illuminati are seen as the ultimate symbol of hidden power, mysterious, elusive, and capable of shaping the future in ways that are beyond our comprehension. This ongoing fascination with the Illuminati speaks to a broader societal concern, the fear of unseen forces shaping the course of history. In a world where power is often concentrated in the hands of a few, and where the lines between public and private influence are increasingly blurred, the idea of a hidden, all-powerful group controlling events is both alluring and terrifying. Whether or not the Illuminati actually exist is beside the point. Their legacy has endured because they represent our deepest fears and suspicions about the nature of power, control, and manipulation. As long as people feel that they are at the mercy of forces beyond their control, the story of the Illuminati will continue to captivate, intrigue, and unsettle. The Illuminati, despite their official dissolution at the hands of the Bavarian government in the late 18th century, have continued to captivate the world's imagination for centuries. What had once been a small intellectual society dedicated to Enlightenment principles evolved, over time, into a symbol of shadowy global influence, secrecy, and control. But how did the once idealistic ideals of the Illuminati, freedom of thought, secularism, and anti-authoritarianism, transform into the sinister image that we now associate with them? The answer lies not only in the manipulation of their history, but also in the larger cultural and political shifts that occurred in the centuries following their disbandment. The Illuminati, or at least the myth of the Illuminati, became a central figure in the conspiracy theories of the modern age, representing the ultimate symbol of hidden power, an ever-present force shaping world events from the shadows. The most significant factor in this transformation was the political upheavals of the 19th and 20th centuries. As revolution after revolution rocked Europe, the public's desire for an explanation of the world's problems grew. The intellectual foundation that had once driven the Illuminati's purpose, to foster reason and challenge traditional authority, was now part of a wider, more pervasive sense of societal upheaval. The collapse of monarchies, the rise of new political ideologies, and the general disillusionment with traditional systems of power created a fertile ground for conspiracy theories. In the midst of this social unrest, the Illuminati's ideals, long since abandoned by their original founders, were resurrected and distorted into a dark narrative of control. By the early 20th century, the global landscape had radically changed. The First World War, which tore apart Europe's established order, provided an opportunity for conspiracy theorists to make sense of the chaos. The idea that an elite group was secretly manipulating events from the shadows found its most compelling expression in the wake of the war, as people sought explanations for the cataclysmic scale of the destruction. The notion that a shadowy elite had orchestrated the war, and that it was part of a larger, hidden agenda, took root among a growing number of political theorists, intellectuals, and public figures. The aftermath of the war, the Treaty of Versailles, the economic instability, the rise of extremist ideologies, seemed to confirm the existence of these hidden forces. The Illuminati, long out of sight, were now viewed as the puppet masters behind these global transformations, manipulating nations and controlling the levers of power behind the scenes. The early 20th century was also a period of intense economic inequality, which further fueled the belief in a hidden elite. The concentration of wealth in the hands of a few powerful families, coupled with the rise of multinational corporations and the growing influence of banking families, created a perfect storm for conspiracy theorists. The growing suspicion of Wall Street and the financial elite gave rise to theories that secret groups, such as the Illuminati, were pulling the strings behind the global financial system. The creation of the Federal Reserve in the United States in 1913, for example, was often cited by conspiracy theorists as a sign that the Illuminati had infiltrated the financial system to create a centralized banking network that could control the world's economy. These financial institutions were seen as part of a larger conspiracy to maintain power and wealth for the few, rather than for the many. Simultaneously, the world witnessed the rise of totalitarian regimes in Europe. Fascism, communism, and the rise of military dictatorships seemed to validate the belief that a shadowy elite was at work, shaping the destinies of nations and suppressing the will of the people. The rise of Adolf Hitler, Benito Mussolini, and Joseph Stalin prompted many to question whether these movements were the result of spontaneous political developments, or if they had been deliberately manipulated by hidden hands. The Nazis' rise to power, in particular, was often interpreted through the lens of Illuminati conspiracy theories. Some believed that the Nazis had been secretly funded by powerful financial elites in the West, hoping to use them to maintain a balance of power that would serve their interests. The specter of the Illuminati was often invoked to explain how events like the rise of Nazi Germany or the spread of communism fit into a larger, coordinated strategy to control the world. The period following the Second World War was a particularly fertile ground for the growth of Illuminati myths. The Cold War divided the world into two opposing superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union. For many conspiracy theorists, the ideological struggle between capitalism and communism was not just a battle between two conflicting systems, but a struggle for control orchestrated by powerful global elites. The fear of communism was often depicted as the Illuminati's attempt to spread a global ideology that would allow them to consolidate power, while the fear of capitalism represented the Illuminati's control over Western economic systems. The Cold War was, in the minds of many, the latest act in a centuries-long power struggle between hidden forces working to keep the world in a constant state of tension and conflict, ensuring that they could continue to maintain their grip on power. The 20th century's technological advancements and the expansion of mass media were key factors in the Illuminati's continued prominence in popular culture. As mass communication, radio, television, and later the internet made it easier for information and misinformation to spread, the Illuminati became a fixture in the growing field of conspiracy media. The Illuminati's association with global control, manipulation, and secrecy made them a perfect subject for sensationalist books, films, and television shows. Fictional accounts, like those in Umberto Eco's Foucault's Pendulum and Dan Brown's Angels and Demons, further cemented the Illuminati's place in the modern cultural landscape. These works of fiction took the myth of the Illuminati and made it central to grand narratives of history, blending fact with fiction to create a compelling, though distorted, picture of the society's power and influence. The success of these works revealed a deep public fascination with the idea of secret organizations manipulating world events, a theme that continues to dominate modern conspiracy culture. However, the explosion of conspiracy theories surrounding the Illuminati didn't end with books and movies. The advent of the internet played a pivotal role in transforming the Illuminati from a historical curiosity into a central figure in modern conspiracy theory culture. Websites, blogs, and social media platforms allowed conspiracy theorists to find each other, share their ideas, and spread their theories to a much wider audience. Forums like Reddit, YouTube, and Twitter became hotbeds for those who believed in the Illuminati's ongoing influence, as they posted videos, articles, and other materials linking global events to the society's supposed manipulations. The rise of social media, in particular, allowed for the rapid spread of Illuminati conspiracies, which were often bolstered by sensationalist claims and elaborate, often unverifiable, theories. These theories tended to focus not just on historical events but also on current political, cultural, and economic developments, interpreting everything from global financial crises to celebrity culture through the lens of Illuminati influence. As the Illuminati became more deeply ingrained in modern conspiracy culture, their association with pop culture icons grew. Celebrities, athletes, and musicians became frequent targets of Illuminati conspiracy theories, with their success and influence often attributed to secret dealings with the society. The widespread rumors that high-profile figures like Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and even the late Michael Jackson were members of the Illuminati reflected the way the society had become synonymous with the idea of elite control over public life. The use of occult symbols in music videos, fashion, and advertising, such as the all-seeing eye and the pyramid, only fueled the belief that the Illuminati were using the entertainment industry to control popular culture and the masses. Despite the proliferation of these conspiracy theories, the Illuminati's original ideals of intellectual freedom, secularism, and the promotion of reason have long been overshadowed by the darker, more insidious image they now carry. What began as an intellectual movement aimed at promoting Enlightenment values has been warped and distorted by decades of sensationalist media, conspiracy literature, and political upheaval. The legacy of the Illuminati today is less about their historical influence and more about the way their name has become synonymous with the idea of secret power structures manipulating the world. The actual history of the Illuminati, obscured by myth and legend, has become a cipher for all the fears and anxieties that people have about the nature of power, control, and secrecy in the modern world. As long as people continue to fear the unseen forces shaping their lives, the myth of the Illuminati will endure. As the 21st century unfolded, the figure of the Illuminati continued to evolve, becoming ever more embedded in the global consciousness. The conspiratorial narrative surrounding them no longer seemed confined to the fringes of intellectual thought or political discourse. It had now firmly entrenched itself in popular culture, entertainment, and the realm of internet culture. This evolution was, in part, due to the profound shifts in global society that occurred during the late 20th and early 21st centuries. The rapid rise of globalization, the dominance of digital media, and the increasing concentration of power in the hands of a small number of multinational corporations created a fertile ground for the myth of the Illuminati to flourish. In a world where the lines between public and private power were increasingly blurred, the idea of a secretive, all-powerful elite quietly controlling world events resonated with a growing number of people who felt disconnected from or distrustful of traditional political systems. The Internet, with its decentralized structure and ability to rapidly disseminate information and misinformation, played a crucial role in the resurgence of Illuminati theories. It was in the digital age that the Illuminati transcended their historical context, becoming part of a larger global narrative about the nature of power, secrecy, and control. Websites, online forums, YouTube channels, and social media platforms all became breeding grounds for Illuminati conspiracies, each offering new interpretations, twists, and iterations of the same basic narrative: that a small group of elites controlled not just the fate of nations, but the course of history itself. These platforms allowed conspiracy theorists to connect with like-minded individuals across the globe, creating vast networks of believers who helped to propagate and validate each other's theories. The rise of social media platforms, in particular, provided a powerful tool for spreading conspiracy theories to the masses. Unlike traditional forms of media, where information is filtered through gatekeepers like editors, producers, and journalists, social media allowed anyone with an internet connection to share their beliefs, regardless of their veracity. This democratization of information meant that conspiracy theories, including those about the Illuminati, could spread rapidly and reach a global audience. Videos, blog posts, and memes began to circulate widely, linking the Illuminati to everything from global politics to celebrity culture. What had once been the domain of a few eccentric thinkers or niche fringe groups was now accessible to millions. The Illuminati, with their aura of mystery and intrigue, became a perfect subject for the viral nature of social media, as sensationalist theories gained traction through likes, shares, and comments. In the world of celebrity culture, the Illuminati became a recurring theme, with many public figures, especially in the music industry, being accused of secret affiliations with the group. This belief was often fueled by the use of occult symbols in music videos, stage performances, and public appearances. The all-seeing eye, the pyramid, and the triangle hand gesture were all incorporated into music videos, advertisements, and fashion choices, leading conspiracy theorists to link them to the Illuminati's supposed agenda. Celebrities such as Beyoncé, Jay-Z, Rihanna, and Kanye West were frequently rumored to be members of the Illuminati, with their success and influence often attributed to their supposed secret deals with the society. The visibility of these symbols, coupled with the idea that these celebrities had achieved unprecedented levels of fame and wealth, only served to reinforce the belief that they were part of a larger, secretive network of control. In this way, the Illuminati became intertwined with the world of entertainment, feeding into the public's fascination with fame, power, and the idea of an elite few who controlled the levers of influence in society. The success of Illuminati-related content in popular culture also played a major role in sustaining the myth. Movies, books, and television shows continued to incorporate the Illuminati as a central part of their plots, often casting them as the masterminds behind grand conspiracies that shaped the fate of the world. Films like The Matrix, National Treasure, The Da Vinci Code, and Angels and Demons all portrayed secret societies, often the Illuminati or their fictional counterparts, as key players in a hidden war for global control. These works of fiction were hugely popular, blending historical facts with fantastical elements, and feeding into the public's desire for stories about powerful secret organizations manipulating events from behind the scenes. The Illuminati, as an idea, fits seamlessly into these narratives, symbolizing the ultimate mystery, the hidden forces that govern the world in ways that ordinary people could never fully understand. Yet, the appeal of Illuminati conspiracies was not solely tied to the world of entertainment. The real-world political landscape, particularly in the post-9/11 era, also contributed to the growing belief in secret elites controlling the course of global events. The September 11th attacks, the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, and the subsequent global war on terror all provided fertile ground for conspiracy theorists who believed that these events were not simply the result of terrorist acts or national conflicts, but rather the product of a larger orchestrated plan. The idea of a new world order, a global, centralized authority run by elites, became a central theme in Illuminati conspiracy circles. For many, the attacks of 9/11 were seen not just as a tragedy, but as part of a wider conspiracy in which powerful elites sought to manipulate the public into accepting an authoritarian world order. The wars that followed, the establishment of military bases around the world, and the erosion of civil liberties all seemed to confirm the belief that the Illuminati, or their modern-day counterparts, were pulling the strings. The economic crises of the early 21st century, particularly the 2008 financial collapse, further fueled these conspiratorial narratives. The bailout of major banks, the increasing concentration of wealth in the hands of a few powerful financial institutions, and the ongoing struggles of ordinary citizens all seemed to point to a hidden system of control, one that was intentionally rigged to benefit a small, elite group. The rise of multinational corporations and the growing influence of financial institutions over national governments only strengthened the belief that a secret society was manipulating the world's economic systems. For those who were already inclined to believe in such ideas, the global financial system appeared to be a manifestation of the Illuminati's power, an invisible hand that directed the flow of money and resources to the benefit of the few, while leaving the majority of people to struggle. The proliferation of conspiracy theories in the 21st century is not just a reflection of our desire to understand the hidden forces that shape our world, but also a response to the increasing complexity and opaqueness of modern society. As the global economy becomes more interconnected, and as political decisions are made by an ever-decreasing number of individuals, people begin to feel disconnected from the systems that govern their lives. The idea of the Illuminati provides a simple explanation for this feeling of powerlessness, an answer to the question of why the world seems so difficult to understand and navigate. If the Illuminati truly existed and were responsible for the hidden machinations of the world, then at least the chaos had a reason, even if that reason was unsettling. Yet, for all their enduring popularity, the Illuminati remain an elusive and enigmatic force. There is no concrete evidence to suggest that the society continues to operate in the way that conspiracy theorists claim. The historical records of the Illuminati, such as they are, indicate that the group's influence was relatively short-lived, and their activities largely confined to a small circle of intellectuals and reformers in Bavaria. In many ways, the Illuminati were a product of their time, an embodiment of Enlightenment ideals that sought to challenge religious and political authority in the hopes of creating a more rational, secular society. But the myth of the Illuminati, as it exists today, bears little resemblance to the reality of the original society. Instead, it has become a symbol of fear and suspicion, an ever-present shadow in the world of conspiracy theories. The persistence of the Illuminati in modern culture is a testament to the enduring human need to understand the forces that shape our lives, particularly those forces that seem hidden, unknowable, or beyond our control. Whether the Illuminati actually exist or not may be beside the point. What matters is the myth that has developed around them and the way that myth reflects our deepest fears and anxieties about power, control, and secrecy. As long as people feel that they are at the mercy of unseen forces, the Illuminati will remain a powerful symbol of that fear, a force whose true influence may never be fully understood. The legend of the Illuminati, both a product of history and a projection of modern anxieties, continues to intrigue, unsettle, and captivate the public's imagination. As we move deeper into the 21st century, the Illuminati's presence in the collective imagination has only grown stronger, fueled by a blend of historical myth, modern political unrest, and the pervasive nature of social media. But perhaps one of the most striking elements of the Illuminati's mythos is how they have become, in many ways, a mirror reflecting society's deepest fears and anxieties about power, control, and secrecy. The allure of a shadowy, all-powerful organization manipulating the strings of global events is not just a tale of hidden power, but a symbolic representation of the struggles people face in a world that often feels increasingly complex and out of their control. In a world characterized by rapid globalization, technological advancements, and shifting political dynamics, the feeling of powerlessness is a common experience. National borders are increasingly porous, economies are deeply interconnected, and the voices of individual citizens seem drowned out by the noise of corporate and government interests. The globalized world has created an environment where decisions made by a small group of elites can have far-reaching consequences, often without the knowledge or consent of the general populace. In this context, the idea of the Illuminati, a hidden cabal pulling the strings from behind the scenes, becomes both comforting and terrifying. On one level, it provides an explanation for why things seem so chaotic and uncontrollable, and on another, it offers a deeply unsettling vision of a world where everything is orchestrated by a few faceless figures. This deep-seated fear of being at the mercy of invisible, powerful forces has given rise to a whole industry of conspiracy theorists, authors, and filmmakers who have made the Illuminati a central figure in their narratives. The idea of a secret society that controls not just political outcomes, but the very fabric of society, governments, economies, culture, resonates with people's desire for an explanation of how the world really works. In a sense, the Illuminati have come to symbolize everything that feels hidden and unknown in our modern world: corporate corruption, political manipulation, secretive military operations, and even global economic instability. The idea of the Illuminati has morphed into a catch-all explanation for the darker forces of contemporary life. Pop culture, in particular, has played a significant role in amplifying the myth of the Illuminati. From films to music, the secret society has become a symbol of everything that is mysterious, powerful, and often sinister. Popular films like The Da Vinci Code, Angels and Demons, and National Treasure have popularized the idea of secret organizations controlling world events. In these works, the Illuminati often represent the ultimate embodiment of hidden power, an elusive force that remains just out of reach, but whose influence is felt everywhere. In these films, protagonists often stumble upon ancient symbols and secret codes, leading them on a journey to uncover the truth about these hidden forces. The allure of these stories lies not just in the adventure, but in the underlying suggestion that there is a secret world, one of immense power and intrigue, just beneath the surface of the everyday. These works have cemented the Illuminati's place in the public consciousness, reinforcing the idea that there are shadowy groups controlling world affairs from behind closed doors. Similarly, the rise of the Internet has allowed the Illuminati to be woven into the very fabric of the digital age. In the early days of the Internet, conspiracy theorists found a home in online forums and websites dedicated to uncovering the truth about the Illuminati and other secret societies. The democratization of information, where anyone with an internet connection could publish their theories and share them with the world, helped fuel a rapid spread of Illuminati-related content. Today, social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube are flooded with conspiracy theories that claim to expose the Illuminati's influence over everything from global politics to celebrity culture. What was once the domain of a select group of fringe theorists is now a mainstream conversation, and the Illuminati has become a central figure in the conspiracy world. Influencers, celebrities, and even ordinary people have joined the conversation, linking the Illuminati to various aspects of modern life, from the banking system to the music industry. The Internet has also created an ecosystem where individuals can easily find and connect with others who share their belief in the Illuminati. This has led to the formation of virtual communities dedicated to researching and discussing the Illuminati. These online spaces are often a place where people come together to share their theories, discuss historical events through the lens of Illuminati influence, and even connect the dots between seemingly unrelated global occurrences. In many ways, the Internet has amplified the myth of the Illuminati, creating a global network of individuals who are convinced that the society not only exists but is actively shaping world events. Whether it's through viral videos, Facebook groups, or Reddit threads, the Illuminati conspiracy continues to thrive in digital spaces, further entrenching the belief that the society is operating behind the scenes, pulling the strings of global events. However, the prominence of the Illuminati in the modern era is not just due to popular media or the rise of the Internet. The world's increasing political and economic instability has also contributed to the resurgence of the Illuminati myth. From the collapse of the Soviet Union to the global financial crisis of 2008, to the rise of populist movements around the world, many people feel as though the world is teetering on the edge of chaos. As inequality widens and the divide between the wealthy elite and the working class continues to grow, more and more people are turning to conspiracy theories to explain the sense of powerlessness that pervades modern life. For those who feel disconnected from the political process, the idea that a small group of elites is controlling the world from behind the scenes provides a simple, albeit unsettling, explanation. The Illuminati's image as a group that controls not just the political system, but also the financial system, global media, and even the entertainment industry, has made them the ultimate symbol of hidden power. The global political landscape is often viewed through the lens of Illuminati conspiracy theories. For many, political movements, elections, and shifts in global power dynamics are not the result of ideological differences or popular will, but the product of behind-the-scenes manipulation. This is especially evident in times of crisis. Whether it's the fear of a new world order in the aftermath of the 9/11 attacks, the spread of economic collapse during the 2008 financial crisis, or the rise of populist leaders around the world, the idea that the Illuminati or a similar group of elites is orchestrating events from behind the curtain is a compelling narrative for those searching for answers. In particular, the concept of the New World Order has become closely associated with the Illuminati. This term, which refers to a hypothetical global government or centralized authority controlled by elites, is a key element in many conspiracy theories. The idea that the Illuminati, along with other secretive organizations, are working to establish a single global government, one that consolidates power and control in the hands of a few, is a central theme in many conspiracy narratives. This new world order is often portrayed as a dystopian future, where personal freedoms are suppressed and global elites hold absolute power. The concept of the Illuminati as the architects of such a system serves to solidify their role as the ultimate hidden power in the world, and reinforces the idea that there is a grand, covert design at work behind the chaos of world events. As unsettling as it is, the myth of the Illuminati taps into a deep-seated human fear of losing control over our own lives. The rise of powerful elites, the concentration of wealth and power in the hands of a few, and the rapid pace of globalization have created a world where many feel they are at the mercy of unseen forces. In this context, the Illuminati serves as both a symbol and a scapegoat, a way of explaining the deep-seated fears of an unpredictable, sometimes terrifying world. For those who feel powerless, the Illuminati myth offers a way to make sense of the chaos and find meaning in a world that often seems governed by forces beyond their control. Yet, even as the Illuminati myth persists, it is essential to remember that it is just that, a myth. The Illuminati as we know them today are far removed from the intellectual, Enlightenment-driven group that existed in the 18th century. What began as a small society of reform-minded individuals has transformed into a symbol of global control, shaped by centuries of myth-making, media influence, and political paranoia. In many ways, the Illuminati are more reflective of our collective anxieties about power and control than they are of any actual historical organization. What they represent is not the truth of what happened in the past, but the deep-seated fears we carry about our future, a future that often feels increasingly beyond our control. In the end, the Illuminati's place in modern culture tells us as much about ourselves as it does about them. The myth of the Illuminati endures because it speaks to our fundamental fears about power, secrecy, and the forces that shape our lives. Whether or not the Illuminati exist is almost irrelevant. What matters is the role they play in helping us understand the forces that lie just beyond our reach. And as long as we continue to seek answers in a world that often feels chaotic and uncertain, the legend of the Illuminati will remain as powerful as ever. As we explore the evolution of the Illuminati myth, it becomes increasingly clear that the story of this secret society is one that mirrors the anxieties and fears of different eras. The Illuminati's transformation from a real, albeit short-lived, intellectual society in the late 18th century to a symbol of shadowy global control in the modern age is not just a story of the group itself, but a reflection of how societies grapple with issues of power, secrecy, and the unseen forces that shape the course of history. The very nature of the Illuminati, a group whose very existence has been enveloped in layers of mystery, makes them an ideal vehicle for the projection of our collective fears about control and manipulation. In the 21st century, particularly after the events of September 11, 2001, and the subsequent global financial crises, the idea of a clandestine group pulling the strings of world events gained renewed traction. The growing distrust in governments, corporations, and institutions of power, coupled with the immense concentration of wealth and influence in the hands of a few global elites, provided the perfect breeding ground for conspiracy theories. Many people, feeling alienated and powerless in an increasingly interconnected world, turned to the idea of the Illuminati as an explanation for the complex and often troubling events unfolding before them. In a world where power seemed increasingly opaque and distant, the Illuminati represented the perfect symbol of the secretive forces that many believed were controlling global affairs from behind the scenes. The legacy of the Illuminati, however, is not just about their supposed control over the political and economic systems of the world, but also their perceived influence over culture, technology, and even the lives of ordinary individuals. The belief that a small, elite group of individuals could dictate the course of history and shape the fate of nations has evolved into a broader narrative that encompasses nearly every aspect of modern life. Whether it's the rise of global corporations, the dominance of certain political ideologies, or the widespread influence of celebrity culture, the Illuminati are often depicted as the puppet masters behind it all. The idea that the Illuminati are controlling the media and entertainment industries is a key aspect of their modern-day mythos. From music to film, television to fashion, conspiracy theorists often point to the success of celebrities and public figures as evidence of their alleged ties to the Illuminati. High-profile musicians like Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Kanye West, for example, have been at the center of Illuminati conspiracy theories, with their success attributed not to their talent or hard work but to secret deals with the shadowy society. This belief is bolstered by the frequent appearance of occult symbols, such as the all-seeing eye, the pyramid, and the triangle, within their music videos, stage performances, and social media posts. To those who subscribe to the Illuminati narrative, these symbols are more than just artistic flourishes. They are signs of a deeper, more sinister connection between the artists and the alleged secret society that controls the entertainment industry. For many, the connection between the Illuminati and the entertainment world is not just a matter of symbolism but a reflection of broader societal concerns about the role of celebrity in modern life. Celebrities, with their immense wealth, influence, and visibility, are often seen as symbols of a larger system of control that operates in the shadows. The Illuminati, as a concept, taps into the fear that powerful elites are using the media and entertainment industries to manipulate the masses, shaping public opinion and controlling the flow of information. The rise of social media, with its ability to create and amplify celebrity cultures, has only added fuel to these conspiracy theories. The public's fascination with the lives of famous people, and the ever-increasing visibility of their every move, has created a fertile ground for the belief that celebrities are not just public figures but pawns in a larger, more intricate game of control. The fear of hidden control extends beyond entertainment and into the realms of politics and finance. As the global economy has become more interconnected, with multinational corporations operating across borders and financial markets intertwined in ways that were previously unimaginable, the Illuminati have come to symbolize the growing concentration of wealth and power in the hands of a few. The increasing influence of financial institutions, such as the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, and the Federal Reserve, has led many to believe that these organizations are not simply neutral actors in the global economy, but rather part of a larger, coordinated effort to maintain control over the world's wealth. The global financial crisis of 2008, in particular, served as a pivotal moment for conspiracy theorists, who argued that the economic collapse was not the result of market forces or governmental mismanagement, but rather the deliberate actions of powerful elites seeking to solidify their control over the world's financial systems. The connection between the Illuminati and the financial elite is further reinforced by the growing perception that the global economy is rigged in favor of the wealthy. As income inequality continues to rise and the wealth gap between the richest and poorest individuals widens, many people are left questioning the fairness and transparency of the economic system. For those who believe in the Illuminati, the concentration of wealth and power is evidence that a small group of elites, operating in the shadows, are pulling the strings behind the scenes, ensuring that the system remains stacked in their favor. The belief that the Illuminati control the world's financial institutions is not just a matter of economic theory, but a reflection of the deep-seated distrust many people feel toward the financial system as a whole. The bailout of banks during the 2008 crisis, the rise of hedge funds and private equity firms, and the consolidation of wealth among the top 1% have all contributed to the belief that a hidden elite is manipulating the world's economy for their own benefit. Similarly, the rise of global political movements and the spread of populist ideologies have become part of the broader conspiracy narrative surrounding the Illuminati. Many conspiracy theorists see the political upheavals of the 21st century not as the result of natural democratic movements or ideological shifts, but as part of a larger, orchestrated plan to consolidate power. From the rise of far-right nationalism to the spread of left-wing populism, the idea that these movements are being manipulated by hidden elites, whether they are the Illuminati or other secret organizations, has become a central theme in conspiracy circles. The idea that global political movements, from the Arab Spring to Brexit to the election of Donald Trump, are part of a larger conspiracy designed to maintain the status quo and suppress true democratic change resonates with those who believe that the world's political systems are controlled by a select few. The intersection of politics, finance, and media in the Illuminati narrative speaks to a deeper societal concern: the loss of agency in an increasingly globalized world. The idea that a small, powerful group of individuals is controlling the levers of power, shaping political outcomes, influencing financial markets, and even dictating cultural trends, reflects the widespread sense of disempowerment that many people feel in today's world. As the world becomes more interconnected and the pace of change accelerates, many individuals feel increasingly helpless in the face of forces beyond their control. The myth of the Illuminati offers a framework for understanding these feelings of powerlessness. If a secret society is behind the scenes, shaping the future of the world, then at least there is an explanation for the chaos, even if that explanation is unsettling. Yet, despite the enduring popularity of Illuminati conspiracy theories, it is important to remember that there is little concrete evidence to support the existence of the society in the way it is portrayed in popular culture. The Illuminati, as a historical organization, was small and short-lived, and their actual influence on world events was minimal. What has endured is not the historical reality of the group, but the myth, a myth that has been shaped by centuries of fear, suspicion, and a desire for explanations of the world's complexity. The Illuminati have become a lens through which people can make sense of the uncertainties and challenges of modern life, offering a simple explanation for a world that often seems impossible to understand. In the end, the Illuminati myth serves as a mirror to the fears and anxieties of modern society. Whether or not the Illuminati ever existed in the way that conspiracy theorists claim, their legacy as a symbol of hidden power and control continues to captivate and intrigue. The enduring appeal of the Illuminati reflects our deepest concerns about the forces that shape our lives, and the desire for an explanation of the unseen powers that govern the world. As long as we live in a world that often feels beyond our control, the myth of the Illuminati will remain a powerful symbol of the mysteries that lie beneath the surface of everyday life. As the myth of the Illuminati continued to grow and evolve through the 21st century, it began to permeate not just political discourse and cultural narratives, but also the very way people perceive their place in the world. In an era where technology has made the world seem more interconnected than ever, yet where power often feels more distant and elusive, the idea of a hidden force controlling the fate of nations taps into a primal fear, the fear of powerlessness. The Illuminati, as an abstract concept, has become the focal point for this fear, offering an explanation, no matter how chilling, for the complex and often opaque systems of power that govern global affairs. But as the Illuminati mythos has expanded, so too has the idea of what it represents. Today, the Illuminati are not just a secret society, they have become a symbol of the deep distrust that many people feel towards governments, corporations, and the very structures that shape their lives. The notion of a secret society controlling the world has gained traction for a variety of reasons. The increasing concentration of wealth in the hands of a few global elites, the growing influence of multinational corporations, and the deepening inequalities in society have left many people questioning the fairness of the systems that govern them. In this context, the Illuminati narrative has come to serve as a kind of explanatory framework for understanding these imbalances. If the Illuminati, or some shadowy cabal like them, are pulling the strings behind the scenes, it offers a simple, albeit unsettling, explanation for why the world seems so unjust. It makes sense of the chaos, even if that sense is disturbing. For many, The idea that the world's most powerful individuals are part of a grand, secretive plan is a way to cope with the overwhelming complexities of the modern world. The proliferation of conspiracy theories about the Illuminati is not a new phenomenon, but it has certainly gained a new level of visibility in the digital age. With the rise of social media and the internet, information, both true and false, can spread quickly, and conspiracy theorists now have access to a global platform. The speed at which misinformation spreads online has made it easier for these theories to thrive. In many ways, the internet has allowed the Illuminati narrative to flourish in a way that it never could have in the pre-digital era. Websites, forums, and social media platforms are teeming with content that suggests the Illuminati are not just a historical curiosity, but a very real and powerful force in the world today. The proliferation of these theories has been further fueled by the way popular media and culture have embraced the concept of secret societies manipulating global events. The Illuminati, once relegated to the world of obscure conspiracies, has become a mainstream topic of discussion. Movies like The Da Vinci Code, Angels and Demons, and National Treasure have introduced the idea of secret societies controlling history to a mass audience. These films are not just fictional tales. They are, in many ways, a reflection of the fears and anxieties that people have about power, control, and secrecy. They present a world where hidden forces are constantly at work, shaping events in ways that are invisible to the public. The Illuminati are not just villains in these stories. They are embodiments of the fear of unseen control. They represent the power structures that operate behind the scenes, pulling the levers of influence and shaping history in ways that ordinary people are powerless to stop. In the realm of entertainment, the Illuminati's image has been further cemented by its connection to the world of celebrity. As the rise of social media and reality TV has brought celebrities into the public eye more than ever before, the idea that these figures are part of a larger, secretive network has gained traction. The frequent use of occult symbols in music videos, advertisements, and even fashion, symbols such as the all-seeing eye, the pyramid, and the triangle hand gesture, has fueled the belief that celebrities are somehow connected to the Illuminati. Figures like Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Kanye West have been particularly singled out as members of the secret society, with conspiracy theorists suggesting that their fame and fortune are the result of deals with the Illuminati. The symbols, of course, can be interpreted in many ways, but for those who believe in the Illuminati, these images serve as evidence that the entertainment industry is being used as a tool of manipulation by the shadowy elites. But the association of the Illuminati with celebrity culture is not just about symbols. It is also about the role that celebrity plays in modern society. Celebrities are not just famous, they are powerful. In a world where media saturation and social media platforms have created a cult of personality around public figures, the idea that these figures are controlled by hidden forces feels more plausible than ever. Celebrities, with their vast influence over public opinion, fashion, and trends, are often seen as symbols of the larger systems of control that exist in society. The notion that these celebrities are somehow in cahoots with a secret society gives the idea of control an almost tangible quality. In this framework, the Illuminati are not just a group of intellectuals or financiers. They are the architects of a system that uses popular culture to shape public opinion, control consumer behavior, and maintain the status quo. The connection between the Illuminati and modern celebrity culture also speaks to a larger societal shift. As the world becomes more interconnected and the lines between public and private life become increasingly blurred, the concept of the Illuminati has evolved. The Illuminati are no longer just an abstract idea of hidden power. They have become a symbol of everything that feels out of reach and beyond understanding. In the past, the Illuminati represented intellectuals and reformers who sought to challenge established authority. Today, they are viewed as the embodiment of the forces that perpetuate inequality and concentrate power in the hands of a select few. The Illuminati myth has shifted from one of intellectual pursuit to one of fear and suspicion. No longer are they seen as the champions of reason and progress. Instead, they are the architects of a world that seems rigged from the start, a world in which ordinary people are left behind while the elites continue to amass wealth and influence. In many ways, the Illuminati serve as a scapegoat for the larger, more complex systems that govern modern society. The growing divide between the rich and the poor, the erosion of trust in political institutions, and the increasing centralization of power in the hands of a few global elites all point to a larger crisis of confidence. For many, the Illuminati represent a way to make sense of this crisis, a way to put a face to the unseen forces that are perceived to be manipulating the world. The idea that a secret society is at the heart of this system provides an explanation for the confusion, frustration, and fear that many people feel as they navigate the complexities of modern life. This myth of the Illuminati, however, also speaks to something deeper, a desire for control. In a world that often feels chaotic and out of control, the idea that a small group of individuals are secretly running the show provides a certain sense of structure, even if that structure is based on fear and distrust. The Illuminati, in this sense, represent both the fear of losing control and the hope that there is a pattern to the chaos, that the world's events are not just random, but part of a larger plan, even if that plan is sinister in nature. For those who feel powerless in the face of global events, the Illuminati provide a way to explain that powerlessness. They are the ultimate puppet masters, controlling everything from politics to finance to culture, and their existence offers a kind of explanation for the randomness of life. Yet, for all the power the Illuminati are perceived to hold, there is also a profound irony at play. The more the myth of the Illuminati grows, the more it reflects society's own sense of disempowerment. The very belief in a shadowy, all-powerful group working behind the scenes to control the world is a reflection of the belief that individuals are helpless in the face of global forces. This belief reinforces the idea that the world is out of our hands, that we are at the mercy of unseen, powerful entities that dictate the course of history. In this sense, the myth of the Illuminati becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. As people increasingly turn to the Illuminati as an explanation for the world's problems, they reinforce the very idea that they are powerless in the face of larger forces. But the Illuminati, as they are presented in the modern myth, are not just a reflection of our fears, they are also a product of our own desires. The desire for control, the desire for explanation, and the desire to understand the world's complexities have all contributed to the creation of this myth. The Illuminati represent the ultimate expression of hidden power, and in many ways, they give people a sense of meaning in a world that often feels meaningless. As long as we live in a world that feels out of our control, the myth of the Illuminati will continue to hold sway. It offers an explanation, however unsettling, for the forces that shape our lives, and as long as people continue to seek answers to the mysteries of power and control, the Illuminati myth will remain as potent as ever. As we continue to explore the evolution of the Illuminati myth and its pervasive influence on modern culture, it is crucial to recognize the ways in which this legend has transcended its historical origins to become a symbol for something much larger than any actual secret society could ever embody. In many ways, the Illuminati have evolved into a cultural touchstone, embodying not just conspiracy theories but a reflection of the broader human experience. Our fears, desires, and, most profoundly, our suspicion of unseen powers that govern our lives. In the 21st century, as the pace of change quickens and the world grows ever more interconnected, the myth of the Illuminati has provided an avenue for people to make sense of a world that often feels chaotic, opaque, and out of control. One of the most striking features of the Illuminati legend is its adaptability. The myth has been able to shift and change with the times, adapting itself to reflect the fears and concerns of successive generations. This malleability is what has allowed the Illuminati to remain so relevant in contemporary discourse. Initially conceived in the 18th century as a small, progressive intellectual movement that sought to challenge the authority of the church and the monarchy, the Illuminati today represents something much darker. A symbol of elite control, manipulation, and secrecy that governs the fate of nations and the lives of ordinary people. The Illuminati have transformed from idealistic reformers into malevolent puppet masters, and this shift reflects broader societal changes. The rise of the Illuminati myth in the 21st century can be understood as a reaction to the growing centralization of power in the hands of multinational corporations, financial institutions, and political elites. Over the past few decades, the concentration of wealth and influence in the hands of a select few has led many people to feel disconnected from the systems that govern their lives. The global economy has become increasingly complex and opaque, and political decisions are often made behind closed doors by powerful individuals or organizations whose interests are not aligned with those of the general public. As a result, The sense of powerlessness that many people feel has created fertile ground for the growth of conspiracy theories, particularly those involving secret societies like the Illuminati. The 2008 financial crisis was a pivotal moment for the Illuminati myth. As the global economy teetered on the brink of collapse and the banking system was bailed out by governments, many people began to question the fairness and transparency of the economic system. For those who already harbored suspicions about elite control over the world's financial systems, the crisis seemed to confirm their worst fears. The idea that a small group of wealthy, powerful individuals were orchestrating the global economy for their own benefit seemed more plausible than ever. In this context, the Illuminati became a stand-in for the invisible hand that many people believed was manipulating the financial system from behind the scenes. But the financial crisis was not the only event that contributed to the rise of the Illuminati narrative. The increasing globalization of the world's economy, coupled with the rise of multinational corporations and international institutions, has made it more difficult for ordinary people to feel a sense of control over their lives. National borders have become less relevant, and economic and political decisions are increasingly made on a global scale. For many, this has led to a sense of alienation and disempowerment. The Illuminati myth, with its emphasis on hidden power and secretive elites, offers a simple explanation for these feelings of helplessness. It suggests that the world is not governed by randomness or chaos, but by a deliberate, hidden hand that is shaping events for its own benefit. This sense of powerlessness is further exacerbated by the rise of digital media and the Internet. While the Internet has democratized information in many ways, it has also created an environment in which misinformation and conspiracy theories can spread rapidly. The digital age has made it easier for people to find others who share their beliefs, no matter how fringe those beliefs may be. Social media platforms, blogs, and websites dedicated to conspiracy theories have become breeding grounds for Illuminati narratives, allowing them to proliferate and reach larger audiences. The rapid spread of these ideas has made it more difficult to distinguish fact from fiction, and for many people, the line between reality and conspiracy has become increasingly blurred. The rise of social media and the Internet has also led to the amplification of celebrity culture, and in turn, the Illuminati myth has become intertwined with the world of entertainment. Pop stars, actors, and other public figures have become symbols of the power and influence that the Illuminati are believed to wield. The use of occult symbols such as the all-seeing eye, the pyramid, and the triangle hand gesture in music videos, performances, and advertisements has fueled the belief that these celebrities are part of a larger, secretive network that controls not only entertainment but also global culture. Figures like Beyoncé, Jay-Z, Kanye West, and Rihanna have all been accused of being members of the Illuminati, with their success and influence attributed not to their talent or hard work, but to their alleged affiliations with the secret society. For those who subscribe to the Illuminati narrative, these symbols are seen as proof that the entertainment industry is a tool used by the Illuminati to control public opinion and manipulate cultural trends. But the connection between the Illuminati and the entertainment industry is not just about symbols. It is also about the power dynamics that underlie the world of celebrity. In a world where celebrities hold enormous sway over public opinion, their success and influence are often viewed with suspicion. The idea that celebrities are controlled by hidden forces, whether they are the Illuminati or another elite group, appeals to a deep-seated belief that the world is not as it appears. Celebrities, with their immense wealth and visibility, are seen as representations of the larger forces that are perceived to control society. The idea that these figures are part of a larger, covert operation reinforces the belief that the world is shaped by forces beyond our control. The narrative of the Illuminati also intersects with the broader political landscape, particularly in the wake of the September 11th attacks and the subsequent global war on terror. The wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, the erosion of civil liberties, and the rise of surveillance states have all contributed to a growing sense of distrust in political institutions. The idea that a small, secretive group of elites is controlling world events behind the scenes provides a simple explanation for these complex and often troubling developments. For many, the Illuminati have become a metaphor for the deep state, a shadowy network of powerful individuals who operate outside the reach of democratic accountability and are believed to manipulate world events to suit their own interests. This narrative has gained traction in recent years, particularly among those who feel disillusioned with the political system, and believe that their voices are not being heard. The idea of the Illuminati as a secret, all-powerful cabal has become a lens through which people view the world's problems. Whether it is the rise of authoritarian leaders, the consolidation of wealth in the hands of a few, or the increasing surveillance of citizens, the Illuminati represent the ultimate symbol of hidden power. They are the puppet masters behind the scenes, pulling the strings of global events and shaping the fate of nations. This narrative taps into a primal fear, the fear that the world is not governed by the principles of democracy, fairness, and justice, but by a small, elite group that operates in secret, manipulating the course of history for its own benefit. Despite the growing popularity of the Illuminati myth, it is important to recognize that there is little concrete evidence to support the idea that a secret society is controlling the world. The Illuminati as an actual organization were short-lived, and their influence on history was minimal. What has endured is the myth, the narrative of hidden power and control that has been shaped by centuries of fear, suspicion, and conspiracy. The Illuminati have become more than just a historical society. They have become a symbol of the forces that many people believe are controlling the world. In this sense, the myth of the Illuminati speaks less to the reality of their existence and more to the way we perceive power in the modern world. In the end, the Illuminati myth remains an enduring cultural force because it speaks to the deepest fears and desires of the human experience. It reflects our anxieties about the concentration of power in the hands of a few, our desire for explanations in a world that often seems chaotic and out of control, and our fear of hidden forces manipulating the course of history. Whether or not the Illuminati actually exist is beside the point. What matters is the way they have come to symbolize the complexities and contradictions of modern society. As long as people feel disconnected from the systems of power that shape their lives, the Illuminati will continue to serve as a powerful symbol of both the dangers and the allure of hidden control. The Illuminati, as a mythos, has transcended its roots as a historical secret society and morphed into something more. Over time, it has become a metaphor for the darker, more unseen aspects of power that lurk just beneath the surface of society. The organization, which was once conceived as a group of progressive intellectuals attempting to challenge the status quo of their time, has been repurposed to fit into the narrative of modern conspiracy theories, reflecting broader societal concerns about power, secrecy, and control. The Illuminati, in this modern sense, represent an embodiment of our collective anxieties about the elites who shape our lives, the forces that seem to manipulate global events from the shadows, and the feeling that, as individuals, we are powerless in the face of these unseen forces. The resurgence of the Illuminati narrative in the 21st century coincides with a global climate of increasing uncertainty, economic instability, and a growing distrust of institutions. From the financial crisis of 2008 to the rise of populism and nationalism around the world, it feels as though the foundations of the modern world are shaking. Many people, feeling disenfranchised and disconnected from political processes, have turned to conspiracy theories as a means of explaining the rapid changes unfolding around them. In this context, the Illuminati have served as an attractive explanation for the pervasive feeling of powerlessness, with their secretive influence over politics, economics, and culture offering a way to understand why things often feel beyond our control. The proliferation of conspiracy theories involving the Illuminati can also be seen as part of a broader trend of societal disillusionment. With the rise of social media and the rapid spread of information, often unfiltered and unchecked, more and more people are becoming aware of the ways in which the global system is structured and the immense concentration of power in the hands of a few elites. This information, while empowering in some respects, has also fueled a sense of paranoia. The more people learn about the intricacies of global politics and finance, the more they begin to see hidden agendas and covert operations at play. The more they uncover, the more questions arise, and the more compelling the narrative of the Illuminati becomes. While the Illuminati of history were originally concerned with Enlightenment ideals, seeking to promote reason, science, and secularism over religious dogma, the modern conception of the Illuminati has been reconfigured to reflect fears about global manipulation, control, and surveillance. The Illuminati myth has evolved into a potent symbol for those who believe that the world's most powerful institutions, the financial industry, media conglomerates, and political elites, are all part of a grand, interconnected system designed to maintain the status quo, perpetuate inequality, and ensure that the rich and powerful continue to hold dominion over the masses. In this new narrative, the Illuminati are not reformers seeking to challenge entrenched power, but rather enforcers of an unseen, authoritarian order, shaping the world from the shadows. The internet and social media platforms have played a significant role in the propagation of Illuminati-related conspiracy theories. The rise of platforms like YouTube, Reddit, and Twitter has created a new space for conspiracy theorists to spread their ideas, making it easier than ever to share and amplify these narratives. In the early days of the internet, conspiracy theories about the Illuminati were confined to obscure message boards and underground websites. Today, these ideas are more mainstream, with millions of people subscribing to them. Videos, articles, and memes about the Illuminati circulate widely, and the idea that a secret cabal controls world events is now a part of the cultural lexicon. The digital age has democratized information, but it has also made it easier for misinformation and fear-based narratives to spread unchecked, further entrenching the belief that the Illuminati are controlling the world from behind the scenes. The popularity of the Illuminati in popular culture has also played a significant role in cementing the organization's place in modern mythology. In films, television shows, and music videos, secret societies and shadowy organizations are often depicted as pulling the strings of global events. The Illuminati, more than any other group, has become the quintessential symbol of these hidden powers. The success of films like The Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons, which center around the discovery of ancient conspiracies and secret societies, reflects a broader cultural fascination with the unknown forces that shape our world. These works of fiction tap into a deep, subconscious fear. The fear that there is a hidden world operating just beneath the surface of our everyday lives, one that is more powerful and influential than we could ever imagine. The world of music and entertainment has also become a central focus for Illuminati conspiracy theorists. From the use of esoteric symbols in music videos to the supposed hidden messages in songs, pop culture has provided ample material for those who believe in the Illuminati's influence. Musicians like Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Kanye West, to name a few, have been accused of being members of the secret society, with their success attributed to their supposed ties to the Illuminati. These artists, who have achieved global fame and fortune, are seen as symbols of a system that rewards those who align themselves with powerful elites. For many, the symbols and imagery used by these celebrities, such as the all-seeing eye, the pyramid, and the triangle hand gesture, are seen as undeniable proof of their involvement in the Illuminati. Whether these symbols are intended as artistic expression or as an intentional attempt to signal affiliation with the Illuminati is beside the point for conspiracy theorists. The fact remains that these images are powerful symbols of hidden power, and their frequent appearance in the media only serves to reinforce the belief in a secret cabal that controls the world. This connection between the Illuminati and the entertainment industry reflects a larger cultural anxiety about the role of celebrities in modern life. Celebrities are no longer just famous, they are powerful. In an age of social media, where influencers have the ability to sway public opinion and shape trends, the idea that these figures are controlled by hidden forces is an attractive one. The sheer power and visibility that celebrities wield can be unsettling, and the belief that they are somehow manipulated by a secret society offers an explanation for their success. The Illuminati myth, in this sense, provides a convenient way to understand the pervasive influence of celebrity culture in modern society. It suggests that celebrities are not just independent figures who have achieved success through talent or hard work, but rather members of an elite group that controls the cultural narrative. The political sphere has also become a central battleground for Illuminati conspiracy theories. The belief that a small, elite group is pulling the strings of global politics is one of the central tenets of the modern Illuminati narrative. The idea that powerful individuals and organizations are secretly influencing elections, manipulating political outcomes, and shaping the policies of governments around the world taps into deep-seated fears about the lack of accountability in politics. Whether it's the belief that the Illuminati were behind the creation of the European Union or that they are secretly orchestrating global conflicts to consolidate power, the myth of the Illuminati provides an answer to the widespread sense of powerlessness that many feel in the face of global politics. The rise of populist movements, the erosion of trust in political institutions, and the growing sense of division in many countries have all contributed to the appeal of the Illuminati narrative, offering a simple explanation for the complexities and contradictions of modern political life. The Illuminati myth also speaks to the broader societal concerns about the centralization of power in the hands of a few. As globalization continues to spread and multinational corporations increase their influence over national governments, many people feel increasingly powerless in the face of these massive, interconnected systems. The Illuminati have come to symbolize this concentration of power, with conspiracy theorists pointing to the increasing influence of global corporations, banks, and financial institutions as evidence that a small group of elites are controlling the world's affairs. The Illuminati myth, in this sense, functions as a kind of cultural commentary on the growing gap between the powerful and the powerless. It reflects the belief that the systems that govern our lives are not only rigged in favor of the wealthy and powerful, but are also deliberately designed to keep the masses in the dark. Ultimately, the Illuminati myth speaks to a deeper fear that transcends politics, economics, and culture: the fear of being controlled. The idea that a small, secretive group is pulling the strings of the world, shaping history, and manipulating events from behind the scenes taps into the existential fear that our lives are not our own, that we are mere puppets in a game we cannot see and cannot control. The Illuminati, whether they exist in reality or not, represent the ultimate symbol of this hidden control, an all-powerful force that operates in the shadows, shaping our world in ways that we can never fully understand or influence. In this sense, the Illuminati have become more than just a conspiracy theory. They have become a symbol of our deepest anxieties about the nature of power and control in the modern world. What is perhaps most fascinating about the Illuminati myth is how it speaks to the human need for both order and mystery. On the one hand, the idea of a hidden society that governs the world offers a sense of structure and explanation, even if it is a dark and unsettling one. On the other hand, the idea of a secret society, operating in the shadows, also feeds the desire for mystery, for the sense that there is something greater at work behind the scenes. The Illuminati are, in many ways, the ultimate enigma, a symbol of the powers that lurk just beyond our reach, waiting to be uncovered. Whether or not they exist is almost irrelevant. What matters is the role they play in our collective imagination. The myth of the Illuminati has taken on a life of its own, transcending its original formation as a small group of intellectuals in the late 18th century and evolving into one of the most enduring conspiracy theories of the modern world. While many of the original ideas behind the Illuminati were grounded in the Enlightenment values of reason and secularism, the popular conception of the society today has taken a far darker turn. The Illuminati are no longer seen as a group of progressive thinkers aiming to challenge the authority of the church and the monarchy. Instead, they are now viewed by many as a malevolent force that operates behind the scenes, manipulating world events, controlling governments, and influencing the masses in ways that remain hidden from public view. This transformation of the Illuminati myth is not only a reflection of changing societal fears, but also a powerful commentary on the way power is understood and perceived in the modern world. One of the central reasons why the Illuminati have remained such a compelling subject in popular culture and conspiracy theory circles is the sense of mystery and intrigue that surrounds them. The very nature of secret societies, groups that operate in the shadows, away from public scrutiny, fuels the imagination and stirs up suspicions about the hidden forces that might be at work in the world. In a time when so much of modern life is governed by opaque systems of power, from the global financial markets to the political systems of nations, the idea that a secret group of elites is pulling the strings offers a way to make sense of a world that often seems unpredictable, chaotic, and beyond our control. The Illuminati, in this sense, represent the unknown, the unseen forces that influence the course of history and shape the lives of ordinary people without their knowledge or consent. In the 21st century, the Illuminati myth has become intertwined with a growing sense of global disempowerment. As wealth becomes increasingly concentrated in the hands of a few powerful individuals and corporations, and as political systems become more centralized and less accountable, many people feel as though they are being left behind. The growing sense of economic inequality, combined with the erosion of trust in political institutions, has created fertile ground for conspiracy theories. The idea of the Illuminati provides a convenient explanation for these feelings of powerlessness. If a small group of elites is secretly controlling the world, it offers a simple answer to the complex and often disheartening realities of modern life. It is a way to frame the world in terms of order and control, even if that order is unsettling and sinister. The internet has played a major role in the resurgence of the Illuminati myth. In the digital age, information, both true and false, can be spread across the globe with unprecedented speed. The rise of social media platforms and online forums has created a space where conspiracy theorists can share their ideas, connect with like-minded individuals, and build communities around shared beliefs. As these communities grow, they generate an echo chamber effect, amplifying the messages and narratives that support their views and dismissing any contradictory evidence. This has made it easier for the Illuminati myth to gain traction, especially among younger generations who are increasingly turning to the internet for information. The digital age has democratized access to information, but it has also made it easier for misinformation to flourish. One of the most powerful aspects of the Illuminati conspiracy theory is the way it draws on symbols and imagery to create a sense of hidden meaning in the world. The symbols associated with the Illuminati, such as the all-seeing eye, the pyramid, and the triangle, have become shorthand for the idea of secret control and surveillance. These symbols are often found in popular culture, on currency, in advertisements, and in music videos, and are frequently interpreted by conspiracy theorists as signs of the Illuminati's influence over global events. For many, these symbols are not just artistic flourishes or coincidences. They are signs of a deeper, more insidious reality. The belief that these symbols are being used deliberately to signal the presence of the Illuminati has contributed to the proliferation of the conspiracy theory, particularly in the entertainment industry. In music, the Illuminati myth has taken on a particularly prominent role. The rise of pop stars and hip-hop moguls, many of whom have achieved global fame and wealth, has given conspiracy theorists ample material to work with. Figures like Beyoncé, Jay-Z, Kanye West, and Rihanna have all been accused of being members of the Illuminati, with their success and influence attributed to their supposed ties to the secret society. The frequent appearance of occult symbols in their music videos, stage performances, and social media posts has fueled these beliefs. These symbols, which are often associated with power, wealth, and control, are seen as proof that the Illuminati are using these celebrities to manipulate the masses and promote a hidden agenda. To those who believe in the Illuminati, the use of these symbols is not a mere coincidence. It is a sign of a deeper, more orchestrated plan to control the public's perception of reality. The connection between the Illuminati and celebrity culture speaks to a larger cultural anxiety about power and influence. In a world where celebrity status often equates to political and social power, the idea that these figures are controlled by secret elites provides a way to explain the seemingly unearned influence that celebrities have over the public. The rise of social media has amplified this phenomenon, as celebrities now have more direct access to their audiences than ever before. With this increased visibility comes an even greater sense of suspicion. The more we see celebrities, the more we wonder how they achieved their fame and what, if anything, they might be hiding. The Illuminati, in this sense, serve as a convenient explanation for the success and influence of public figures, particularly those who seem to rise to the top with little visible effort or accountability. But the Illuminati narrative is not confined to the world of entertainment. It extends into the realm of politics and economics. In many conspiracy theories, the Illuminati are seen as the puppet masters behind global political events, from elections to international conflicts. The belief that a small group of elites controls the world's governments, manipulating political outcomes for their own benefit, is one of the central tenets of the Illuminati myth. From the rise of populist movements to the increasing centralization of power in the hands of multinational corporations, the Illuminati narrative provides a lens through which people can view the increasingly complex and interconnected world of global politics. For many, the Illuminati are the architects of a global order that serves the interests of the wealthy and powerful at the expense of ordinary people. The idea that the Illuminati are involved in global politics is also tied to the broader concern about the erosion of democracy and the increasing power of technocratic elites. As political systems become more bureaucratic and less accountable to the people, the belief that a small, secretive group is controlling world events becomes more plausible. The growing influence of multinational corporations, international financial institutions, and powerful lobbying groups has led many to question the legitimacy of democratic processes. For those who subscribe to the Illuminati narrative, The secret society represents the ultimate expression of this undemocratic power. An elite group of individuals who are operating behind the scenes, shaping the world in ways that serve their own interests. The economic system itself is also often viewed as part of the Illuminati's plan. In conspiracy circles, the Illuminati are seen as the force behind the rise of global capitalism, with their control over the world's financial systems ensuring that the rich get richer while the poor remain powerless. The growing divide between the wealthy and the rest of society, coupled with the increasing concentration of wealth and resources in the hands of a few multinational corporations, has led many to believe that the system is rigged. The Illuminati, in this view, are the puppet masters pulling the strings of global finance, ensuring that the financial system remains stacked in favor of the elites. The proliferation of these conspiracy theories speaks to a broader sense of alienation in modern society. The growing distrust of governments, corporations, and institutions has created a climate in which people are searching for explanations that align with their fears. The Illuminati, with their secretive nature and supposed control over world events, provide an explanation for a world that often feels out of control. For many, the belief in the Illuminati is not just about uncovering hidden truths. It is about reclaiming a sense of agency in a world that seems increasingly dominated by forces beyond their control. At its core, the Illuminati myth taps into the fundamental human fear of being controlled. The idea that a small, powerful group of individuals can shape the course of history and dictate the lives of ordinary people is a frightening one, and it speaks to the deepest anxieties about power, surveillance, and control in the modern age. But the Illuminati myth is also a reflection of our desire for understanding. In a world that can often seem chaotic and opaque, the belief in a hidden force that governs the world provides a sense of order and explanation, even if that explanation is uncomfortable or unsettling. Ultimately, the Illuminati myth endures because it speaks to something deep within us, the fear of unseen power and the desire for control over our own lives. Whether or not the Illuminati exist is almost irrelevant. What matters is the way the myth has become a lens through which we view the world. The Illuminati, in this sense, are not just a conspiracy. They are a symbol of the fear and suspicion that shape our understanding of power in the modern world. And as long as people continue to feel disconnected from the systems that govern their lives, the Illuminati will remain an enduring and powerful symbol of hidden influence. The power of the Illuminati myth lies not in its historical reality, but in its cultural resonance. It provides a framework for explaining the complex, often incomprehensible forces shaping modern life. In an age marked by rapid technological advancements, political upheaval, and economic uncertainty, the Illuminati offer a convenient narrative, a scapegoat for everything that feels out of control. The more society becomes fragmented, the more people seek something to blame, and the Illuminati, with their tantalizing combination of mystery, secrecy, and influence, provide that perfect explanation. Whether true or not, their myth endures as a reflection of our deepest fears about power and control. The idea of the Illuminati as a tool of social control extends beyond its mythic origins into contemporary concerns about surveillance and privacy. In the digital age, where our every move is tracked, analyzed, and sold to the highest bidder, the Illuminati represent a metaphor for the unseen entities that monitor and manipulate our actions. The growth of mass surveillance, data collection by corporations, and the increasing influence of tech giants have led to a growing unease about who controls the information we consume and how it's used to influence our behavior. For many, the Illuminati myth provides an explanation for these modern fears, framing the rise of digital surveillance as the work of shadowy elites orchestrating global control. Conspiracy theories surrounding the Illuminati also reflect broader societal fears about the erosion of individual autonomy. As governments and corporations expand their reach into every corner of life, people are left wondering who is truly in control. The Illuminati, as imagined in these theories, represent this hidden hand, manipulating not only political events but also cultural narratives, shaping public opinion through media, entertainment, and technology. They embody the fear that our lives are no longer our own, that we are living in a world where our thoughts, actions, and beliefs are influenced by powerful, invisible forces working in concert for their own gain. The idea of the Illuminati also serves as a powerful reflection of modern-day fears about surveillance and the erosion of privacy. In an age where data is collected on virtually every aspect of our lives, the Illuminati myth has morphed into a symbol of the pervasive surveillance society. Many people now believe that the government, tech companies, and even financial institutions are not just tracking our movements but actively shaping our choices, behaviors, and beliefs. The Illuminati, in this context, represent the ultimate embodiment of this fear, an invisible, all-seeing power that manipulates society through information, control, and influence from behind the scenes. As we approach the end of our exploration into the Illuminati, we are left with an important question. What does it mean for us to believe in such a myth? The enduring power of the Illuminati myth, whether founded in historical reality or modern fantasy, underscores a universal human tendency to seek explanations for the forces that shape our lives. While the Illuminati may or may not exist, their symbolism as a hidden power controlling the world speaks to our deep need for understanding, clarity, and perhaps even reassurance. The true power of the myth lies in its ability to connect us to our own fears and suspicions. The legacy of the Illuminati myth is one of enduring fascination. It endures because it taps into fundamental human fears: the fear of the unknown, the fear of being controlled, and the desire for understanding in a world full of hidden powers. Whether seen as a historical conspiracy or a symbol of modern power dynamics, the Illuminati myth remains a reflection of our collective anxieties. It forces us to confront the uncomfortable reality that much of the world's power lies beyond our control, and in doing so, it offers a compelling narrative about secrecy, influence, and the pursuit of truth in an uncertain world. The myth of the Illuminati persists because it answers a fundamental question: who controls our world? In a society where power seems invisible, the Illuminati offer a coherent explanation for the chaos. The belief in hidden control is a reflection of our struggle to understand complex systems and the often inexplicable events shaping our lives. Whether or not the Illuminati exist is secondary. Their myth represents the fear of powerlessness in a globalized, interconnected world. It speaks to the human desire for answers and the deep anxiety surrounding the unseen forces that guide the fate of nations and individuals alike.